and it means say. Huwa is a pronoun and it means he.
Qul is a verb which means say. Ya is a vocative particle. Ayyuha is a nominative noun. Together with the vocative particle means O. Al-kafirun means the disbelievers, which is a noun.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So welcome today. Before we get into the specifics of today's lesson, just to have a recap of this approach, yeah? So first of all is the idea of focusing on reading, not speaking. Because if you were to learn speaking, it'd be very different. Now, I've had people come and say to me, oh, I've downloaded the Duolingo app and I'm learning Arabic. But Duolingo is set up to help people to speak, because that's what the average person, when they're looking at languages, they want to learn to speak that language in a particular country. Yeah. For us, it's more like learning English to analyze Shakespeare. Yeah. Like a technical way of looking at a language. And the reason why is because we want to understand the Quran. That's our goal. Yeah. And therefore the things that we need for speaking, like lots of memorization, we can skip that. Number one. Number two, the Pareto principle, this core Ramadan pack that we're going to go through today, I've carefully selected those ayahs. So you get a huge amount for those, yeah? And the plan is today, inshallah, is to go through 5 of them, 5 of the sheets, okay? 5 of the sheets. There's 20 exercises, but in each exercise, there's 3. So I will do the first one, and then you can do the second 2. So there's always an A, B, C. I will just do the A's, and then you can have a go at B and C, okay? And the priority for today and I do want some participation, is to really check, do you actually understand what's happening? Do you understand it? Now, this is not Arabic, this is English. Do you understand what's happening from an English perspective? If you understand it from an English perspective, then that makes a huge difference, because what really happens with people, I've seen this time and time again, they think they don't understand the Arabic, but actually they don't understand the English. They don't know the concept in English. How are you going to understand it in Arabic? Just take a second to think about that. You want to learn Arabic. But if you don't understand it in English, how are you going to understand it in Arabic? And the beauty is that grammar is universal, because these grammar concepts don't just exist in English, they exist in Arabic. In fact, they exist in any language. Yeah? And that's one of the sort of the beautiful things about language. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it. Yeah? So we'll do the first one here. So this is lesson 1A. Okay? Right, so I'm going to do this in the way that I would want you to do this. And it's very simple. First, we start with the words. So we've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Now, I can't assume anything. I can't assume that you know what a time adverb is. I can't assume that you know what a verb is. Yeah? So I've done this pack for you. So what you do, got this here, okay, is, let's make this a bit bigger. Okay, so here, either, what is this? I would go to the sheet and I would find T, where is it? And you can see it's here, it's time adverb. So what you can do, there is this definition here, yeah? An adverb gives us an idea of the place, time, or thing. Okay, and I can copy that, and literally, that's it, yeah? Now I would want you to put it here, because you say what type of word this does. Now, just assume you've wrote either, so I'll just write it in English. Actually, either. If you can see that. Yeah. I don't want to waste time on something like this, because it's not really going to add any value. Yeah. So I'll just do the first one, and the rest ones I'll do them in English. Yeah. So now that gives us time as a place. Okay. So we'll come to this role of the sentence later. Yeah. So that's that. The next one is verb. Most people still know what a verb is. So we can say verb, a simple definition, is a doing word. Done. Okay. Next one, noun. Noun is a name of a place or thing. Yeah. So this word is, say, ja'a. This one is Nasru. And then Allah. Okay. So there's a very specific way we talk about when we come across Allah in the Quran. We say lafdul jalala. This is the word that's referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Because you don't want to say Allah is in a particular state. That's not acceptable. So we have to say that the word that's referring to Allah is in a particular state. So you would say lafdul jalala. Okay. So that is a proper noun. Proper noun. I like to just say it's words you put a capital letter at the front. Yeah. Now, the idea of a proper noun is you know which one you're talking about. You see. So when I say Ahmad, it's got a capital letter at the beginning because you know we're talking about your friend Ahmad. London, you know which city I'm talking about. Okay. And then we've got two more here. There's not enough boxes, unfortunately. So we'll do them together. So, because the thing is here, this is actually, no, I'll take that back. There is enough boxes. This is part of the process, is actually understanding that this is 3 words. Okay. It looks like one because there's a space between it and the one before it, but there's actually 3 words here. Yeah. So, wal fath. The wa is a conjunction, which is a connecting word. Again, if you want, the way you would do it is you'd go here, you'd actually find the section on conjunctions. So you could actually copy this in. Yeah. Copy this in. Like that. Okay. And then you've got the al. The al. This is called a determiner. Now, what this does, it makes something definite. Yeah. So the story I'll use in the notes is that, you have all these toys. If I say it's the favorite toy, which one is it? Well, for the child, their favorite toy is bubbles. So if I can get me the toy, then we mean that's bubbles, because that's like their favorite toy. Yeah. Determiner. And then fath is another noun. Okay. Now, we've defined noun here. And it will, you don't need to keep, you know it now. Yeah. However, maybe you know verbs, maybe you don't know adverbs, maybe you need to keep writing this out until it becomes second nature. So rather than like memorization, what we're doing here, we're just repeating it. And because we're repeating it, we're going to naturally just remember it. So if you do 20 sheets, 40 sheets, 60 sheets, these things, you no longer need them. I've got students where I say to them, stop writing this out for me now. You don't need to keep doing that anymore. Yeah? Okay, now, in terms of this column, you can see here that these labels at the bottom are telling you what the words are doing. But the only one I want you to focus on in this sheet is this one here. Okay? So this word nasr is the subject doer. What does that mean? It's the word that's doing the verb. Yeah? So nasr here is doing the verb ja'a. Think of the meaning. They say at-tarkib taht al-ma'na. Yeah, the grammar is based on the meaning. So what's the ayah saying? When the help comes. So it's actually the help of Allah comes. The help of Allah when it arrives, if you like. Yeah? And the victory as well. But we're just focused here on nasr. So the idea is that the word nasr here is doing the verb ja'a, which you could say comes or you could say arrives. Yeah? That's it. Now, so that's the key one, is this one here, ja'a. Okay? This is the subject doer. It is doing the verb ja'a. Okay? Now, very important. Okay? You'll see here at the top it says a singular word and there's a dhamma there. Yeah? The sign, the way that we know that Nasr is doing this verb ja'a is the fact that it's got a dhamma at the end. That's the sign. So if you didn't have any of these colors and things at the bottom, you would know that Nasr is doing the verb ja'a because it's got a dhamma at the end. So it's the sign is the dhamma, okay, at the end. Because this will change. From sheet to sheet, this will change, okay? So that's the first one. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult, okay? You can do the second one, but it's exactly the same. Ard here is doing the verb akhrajat. To bring forth is the verb. The earth is going to bring forth. It's going to do that verb. And the sign that it's the subject doer is the dhamma. Now, as far as the labels at the bottom here, we've already done all of these. Only pronouns is extra. But I'm not going to do 1b. You can do that one. So you have to go and find out what a pronoun is, okay? And the same for 1c as well. Look at here, the sign is a dhamma at the end as well. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. So we've done number 1. So we said we're going to do 5. Okay? Is that right? 5 times 4. Yeah. Okay. So we've done the first one. Right. The next one, from a word level, we've done time adverbs. I'm not going to repeat that. We've done verb. We've done noun. We've done noun. Verb. Let's do pronoun. And then we've got this thing called PRP. Okay? So pronoun here, you can go and now pronouns are a bit trickier because they change depending on what they're attached to. Okay, they change depending on what they're attached to. So let's check these. Now, if you are particularly, if you just want a basic approach, then just go here. Oops. And you can search for it, pronoun. Okay, so pronouns provide a noun. Yeah. A personal pronoun is a word which can be used instead of a person, place, or thing. So you basically, instead of using that name, that thing, you're using a pronoun instead. So instead of saying, where is Ahmad? Ahmad is over there. You say, where is Ahmad? He is over there. Yeah? So it's a proxy for a noun. Okay? So I can put that in here. Yeah? So whatever that is, I can put that. I'll just put it there for argument's sake. Okay? Now, PRP is not in the, so we said we're going to focus on the core 20%. Yeah? The most common things. Now, PRP is not one of the common things, but you can still find it in here. So PRP takes you to here. So this is the purpose lam prefix put at the beginning of a word to explain the purpose. Yeah? So we can go and we can copy that in wherever we write that word out. Now, whenever you do that, try and think of the context. Look at the translation. Yeah? يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصْدُرُ النَّاسُ أَشْتَاتًا. And that's like a part of the ayah. What's the purpose of everyone? So the translation is the day that the mankind will proceed in scattered groups. Why are they being brought together in scattered groups? The purpose of them doing that is لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُم. So they're showing their deeds. So do you see how powerful this is? Because now you know exactly what that lam's doing. It's telling you the purpose of these people. Yeah? That should be there. Okay? Now, I need to then see the fa'il. Now, who wants to have a go at this? Explain to me, why is nas the fa'il? So I'll just have a look at the chat. You can put your hand up, or you can just call out. Let's see who we've got. Sister Alia, do you want to have a go? Because you've submitted something on the group. So okay, if you're saying something like no idea, I need a bit more. So you need to. I'll come to you in a second, Sister Alia. Okay, because somebody just put something on the chat. It's not helpful just to say, oh, this is overwhelming, this is too much. That doesn't help. Yeah. Try and pinpoint what is it that you're struggling with. Okay. Try and be very specific. Okay, sister. So you explain to me, why is nas, Stalia, why is nas the fa'il? Bismillah.
Because it has a dhamma at the end and it's a noun.
Okay,
It's the doer of the verb.
you've worked the backwards. You worked the wrong way around.
Okay.
You're telling me the sign that it's what you said is correct, but that's not that wasn't my question. So my question was conceptually, because the idea of grammar, remember, is for you to know what's going on. I'll give an example. Yeah. If I say Alia spoke to Sania, yeah? Who's speaking?
Alia.
Alia, okay?
Yes.
So in English, the sign that Alia is speaking is that it came first. Your name came first, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
But if I'm asking you, if I say, well, Alia is the subject doer, what does that mean? How would you explain that? You'd say, well, Alia is doing the talking.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. So for this ayah, why is Nas a subject doer?
Because it's the one doing the it's proceeding. So, and then hang on a minute.
Good. Yeah, will proceed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this verb here is will proceed. So the ayah is saying that day, the mankind. There's a great translation. Mankind will proceed. Yeah. So do you see what we mean by subject doer? That Nas is doing the verb yasturu. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's the sign that it's the subject doer? The sign has got dhamma at the end. Yeah. So that's the way we do it. First, we explain that Nas is doing yasturu, it's the subject doer. The sign is the dhamma at the end. That's like if Alia spoke to Sania, Alia is the subject doer. It's doing the verb spoke to. The sign that Alia is the subject doer is that it comes first. Okay? Who's really struggling with that? Put your mic on and say me. Let's have it. I'll discuss it with you.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling with it a bit. Sorry.
Okay. So tell me what you're struggling with, sister. Try and be a bit more specific.
I think, like you were saying in the beginning, it's understanding like the different words, like the noun, pronoun, all of these like different things.
That we're not doing that yet. We're not doing that.
Okay.
This question is sentence level. Okay.
Okay.
So if you try and be structured in the sense that there's words, there's sentence, there's verbs. We're not tackling verbs yet. Okay.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. So it's just words and sentences. So nas is a noun. You know what a noun is. Most people know what a noun is. Yeah. It's one of those few things that we got taught and generally people are aware of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But the role, it's like saying Alia spoke to Sania. Okay. Alia is a noun. But that's nothing to do, that doesn't help us know what's going on in the sentence, does it?
No,
So
no, it's different.
I need to know, that's part of the jigsaw puzzle, because if I know Alia spoke to Sania, to is a preposition. Yeah?
Yeah.
So if I know to is a preposition, I know that it's not going to be a subject doer. So knowing what the words are on a word level is useful. Because then you know what to do with each one. You do this automatically in English. You have to understand this. You just do this without thinking in English. Yeah? That's why they say learning Arabic makes you more intelligent, because you think. I heard this from one of the top shuyukh that speaking in Arabic actually makes your head hurt, because everything is so precise and so accurate, these sorts of things. Yeah? Literally, a fatha dhamma, everything makes a difference. Yeah? So this is the thing, we just do automatically in Arabic. We have to try and understand what we're doing in English and then apply it to Arabic. Yeah? So think of it from that perspective that Alia spoke to Sania. Alia is the one doing the verb. It's called the subject doer. You just apply that to this ayah now. Yeah? Okay. So here, broken plurals is our second category. Broken plurals it looks exactly the same as singular words. So singular words are different to plurals. We all know what a plural is. Plural is when you have more than one thing. Yeah. But in Arabic, there's 3 types of plurals. Yeah. The first one that we're tackling here is what's called a broken plural. But a broken plural is treated exactly the same as a singular word. So you'll see here, nas, because the singular of nas is ins. Ins. Alif, nun, sin. It's broken in the middle, and an alif is put in the middle. That's why it's called broken. Yeah. So nas here has got an alif in the middle. Yeah. So nas is doing the verb yasturu, and the sign that it's the one that's doing the verb is that's got a dhamma at the end. Yeah. So again, what you would do for this sheet is you would write out on the word level what all these words are, and then you would explain this. Yeah. And I would see from your explanation what bit is missing from your explanation. Okay. You've got another one here with nas as well. Here, malaika is also a broken plural. So malaika, because malak is one angel, malaika is angels. So malak, again, you break it, malaka. So you've got mala, and then it's broken. They put an alif in the middle, and then you've got a ka, malaika. Yeah? But again, it's got a dhamma at the end. Okay? So now we've done 2. So we've done 1a, and we've done 2a. Let's do 3a. And I want somebody to have a go at this one as well, inshallah, okay? So we're going to go to 3a. Okay, so here, you can see now that we've done all of these already. The only new one is result. Now, if you're ambitious, there's 1, 2, 3 types of pronouns, yeah? If you are ambitious, you'll find the pronouns, the different types of pronouns in different sections. So I'll give you an example. Ja'akum. This kum here, now it's attached to a verb. Yeah. So ja'akum, this is the same as this one. Darabakum, this one. So this is what's called an object pronoun. Yeah. So an object pronoun is when the verb is done to the thing. That's called an object. Yeah. So that's why they translate it as. I mean, in English, it doesn't help because this is a better example. So them is an object pronoun because you talk to them. That them is an object. They is doing the verb. They talk to them. Yeah. They talk to them. So them is an object pronoun. If that's a bit too advanced for you yet, don't worry about that. Yeah, because pronouns, they change. As long as you know what a pronoun is, it's a proxy for a noun. Okay. So what we'll focus on now is the fa'il. So if you want to have a go, put your mic on, inshallah. And don't, you're the winner if you have a go because I'm going to give you feedback. Yeah, and there's no, we're all here learning, inshallah. It's no problem.
I want to give it a try. So I know al-muminat, it's a broken plural because mumin is singular.
No. Good try. I probably should have pointed that out. We're on a new section now. We're on feminine sound plurals. Okay. Yeah, because remember I said there's 3 types of plurals. Lesson 2 is broken plurals. Lesson 3 is feminine plurals. So this is a feminine plural. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But good observation. But Karen, sister, you saying?
I don't remember.
So look at the translation. Explain to me, why is this a subject doer?
Because of Dhamma is plural.
So what's the verb that mu'minat is doing? Which verb?
Come to you.
Which one?
Come to ja'akum.
Ja'akum, good. Okay, what does ja'a mean? Come, yes, okay. So the subject, the mu'minat is doing ja'a, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. It says believing women come to you.
Exactly, yeah? So when the believing women arrive to you or come to you, yeah? That's it. It's not more difficult than that, yeah? So now we understand why mu'minat is a subject doer. But then we have to ask ourselves, well, what's the sign it's a subject doer? Yeah? And again, the sign is still a dhamma at the end. So that's why mu'minat has a dhamma at the end. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it. They're all three that we've done so far all had a dhamma at the end. And all of them were subject doers. Okay. So we've now done 3. We've only got 2 left. Yeah? So you'll do here. That's in 3b. Again, mu'minat here. Got a dhamma at the end. And another one here. Wal mu'tafikat. Now this one, because there weren't many examples in the Quran, I would prefer to not have used something like this, but I couldn't find anything else. Mu'tafikat isn't directly doing ja'a. Mu'tafikat and Fir'aun are both doing ja'a. They're both doing it. Yeah? Fir'aun and mu'tafikat are both doing the verb ja'a. Okay? So that was a bit more, you might get a bit confused with that. But I mean, once you've done those, what I found, once you've done 3, you get it. Once you've done 3 examples, you get it. Yeah? Okay, so let's go now. Now we've got a category of something called غير منصرف. Now don't ask me what غير منصرف is. That's for a future date. What غير منصرف? It's a category of words. Yeah? One of the words in this category is a foreign name. Like Ibrahim is classified as a foreign name. That would be غير منصرف. Okay? Right, who wants to have a go? So in terms of these, the only one we haven't covered before is preposition. Yeah? So preposition is here, okay? So these are words that only come before nouns that show a relation between that noun and another word. Yeah? Easy peasy. You can copy it in here, whatever it is, whatever you want to copy it in. Okay? Wherever you're writing that word. Yeah? And it makes sense, like and explained with her Ibrahim. So it's kind of coming before Ibrahim, isn't it? Sorry, it's coming before this this pronoun, her, with her. Yeah. Easier examples to understand a preposition is things like on. The table is on. Sorry, the pen is on the table. So it's prepositioning the table. The pen is on the table. Yeah. Good. Okay. Who wants to have a go at this one? So I want you to explain to me why Ibrahim is the subject doer, and then what's the sign that it's the subject doer? Nobody's put their mic on.
I can try again if nobody's up to try.
Okay. Bismillah.
Bismillah. So I think Ibrahim is the main subject. So Ibrahim and Yaqub and his son, all of them joined someone and joined.
Enjoin. Enjoin means to give advice.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you made a mistake, sister. Not Bani. Yeah. Bani, there's not a subject. Yaqub is a subject, you're correct. Yeah. And Ibrahim is a subject, but Bani is not a subject. And the way that you would know that, yeah, is that if it was a subject, it wouldn't be Bani. It wouldn't be Bani, it would be Banu. Yeah, like Banoon. Banoon and Banin are, depending what they're doing, it would be Banin or Banoon. Yeah. So that's, but it's not, it hasn't been labeled as a fa'il. Only Ibrahim has been labeled as a fa'il. And Yaqub, it says it's copying Ibrahim. Yaqub is copying Ibrahim. So it is all labeled, but it's a very easy mistake to make. Yeah. Again, what's the sign, Sania, Sister Sania? What's the sign that Ibrahim is the subject doer?
Dhamma.
The dhamma. Excellent. Okay. Another dhamma. So everything so far has been dhamma. Nice and easy. Okay. The next one is not. So the next one is the dual word. Okay. Right. يوم التقى الجمعان. Yeah. Again, do you see the Pareto principle? We've only had like out of those core 12 concepts, there was only like 2 or 3. Yeah. There was one early, actually there was one earlier I didn't do the results. You know, I'll just show you. It said RSLT. Yeah. So they said the result particle. So you search for it here. Yeah. So the result particle gives the result of a condition set, gives the result of a condition set by a condition particle. Yeah. So it's the result of something. You know, it's the result of something talked about earlier on. Yeah. But I mean, you can just write that and you can try and work out what that means and ask questions about that. Okay. But the core thing I want you to understand is the subject doer for today. Okay. This is the last one. So if you don't put your hand up now, put your mic on now, it's you know, you've missed your chance. So who wants to have a go? And it can't be the same person.
I can have a go. I might get it wrong though. I'm still
Go on, bismillah.
processing it, but yeah.
So the first thing is to explain to me, why is jama'an, this word here, why is it a subject doer?
You're saying this one doesn't have the dhamma at the end, so
No,
I'm not sure.
that's the sign. That's the sign. That's next. Remember, I said
Okay.
to you, if I said to you, Anon is speaking to Alia.
Yeah.
I don't say, if I say, if I ask you to explain what do we mean that Anon is the subject doer, it wouldn't make sense to say, well, it comes first. I want to understand, what is it? Like, what's going on? What do we mean subject doer? Why do we care? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So just tackle it from that side. What is it that we're trying to, why are we even asking this question?
I'm not sure. It's talking about the two forces.
Yeah.
The two forces. Yeah.
But why is jama'an a subject do? What is a subject do? You tell me.
Because the two forces are meeting, so it's talking about the two forces.
You're
meeting.
you're giving me a translation.
Yeah.
But I want you to explain before we get into this ayah, you explain to me, what is a subject doer?
It's the main part of the sentence, like.
No. You're thinking of the subject as like the subject of a book or something like that.
Okay, yeah. I think maybe I don't understand this rule.
So
Yeah.
okay, so subject doer. It says it here. What does it say?
Okay, the word that is doing the verb. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Why is jama'an the word that's doing the verb?
The verb is that they're meeting.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I don't know.
You're there. You're there.
The two forces are like meeting. So the meeting is a verb, and the two forces are
It's
the
not
ones
more.
that.
If you have just like in your mind, you think it's more difficult than it is.
Yeah.
That's it. The two forces are doing the verb meeting.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So that's it.
Okay.
So now we've established that. Now, what's the sign that it's doing? Now, it's not, the sign isn't a dhamma at the end, is it? Now it's a different sign because it's a dual word. A dual word is a word that's talking about two things. Jama'an, there's two forces. That's why it's translated the two forces. Yeah.
Yeah.
When a dual word is a subject doer, it's not dhamma at the end. What's the sign? It is.
Is it alif? Is it
An
alif?
alif and a.
Kasra.
No. So you're looking at this one, yeah?
Yeah.
No. You look at the one on the ayn, the
Fatha,
one
yeah.
before the alif. And the reason why is this noon sometimes drops. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
So it's the fatha and the alif. The alternative would be fatha and a ya. So instead of jam'an, it could be jam'ain. Jam'ain. Yeah? So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to get to grips with the concept of a subject doer, which is not complicated. It's not complicated. Don't say to yourself, don't allow yourself to fall into the trap of complicated. It's just new. Yeah? Football rules are far more complicated than this grammar stuff, and people learn them, they enjoy them, and they have fun. All sports rules, you take any sport, there's all these weird, complicated rules, but people learn them, and it's no problem. Yeah? So it's just new. It's not difficult, it's just new. If you convince yourself that it's complicated and it's difficult, I can't do it, then shaitan's won. Yeah? Shaitan's won. There was a day that you didn't know how to say ABC and you learnt it. As a baby, you're patient and you just kept on learning words and kept on, that's because you wanted to be able to communicate with people. If you see little babies trying to grasp and talk and express themselves and they're desperate to do that, they really want it, yeah? So they're willing to be patient with this process, okay? But you have to, this whole section is subject doer. All of the examples in the first section are subject doer. So by the end of the section, you should get used to it, yeah? So I've done 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A. You go away and do 1B and 1C, 2B and 2C, 3B and 3C, 4B and 4C, 5B and 5C. By the time you reached 5, you should at least know that what a subject doer is. Okay, right. Somebody's asked, why is there a kasra at the end on the noon? There, in dual words, you'll have a kasra at the end. Yeah, but it's not a sign that it's a subject doer because the noon can drop. Do you want to see an example? Yeah. So this is gonna make you do this.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I like these memes. Makes it all more fun. Okay, so let's go. This is my favorite website on the internet. So you go here. And a famous surah. Now, I'm only going into this because you asked the question, okay? So yada is two, is a dual, because you've got two hands. Tabbat yada, but the noon is dropped. Now, I'm not going to tell you why it's dropped because it's going to be too much information, yeah? But it has been dropped. So I can't take that as the sign, but the alif is still there and the fatha is still there, okay? So I still know that it's, because here, this is also a subject doer. It's doing the verb tabbat. Tabbat. The hands are going to perish. The hands of Abu Lahab are going to perish. But the noon is dropped. Okay? Any other questions? Let's just have a look at the comments.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know the section on the table that says what role does it play in the sentence?
Yeah.
Do we just fill in the one for the subject doer or for everything?
Just the one in the red the red box. You won't be able to do all of the other ones. So you just do the one that's in the red box. Yeah? You don't know what mudaf ilayh is. I mean, you could try and work it out from the videos, and if you do the full 30-day course, it's covered in there, mudaf ilayh. But look, the biggest risk that you all face, because look, we started off, we had 15, now we're at 12 participants. So some people came in and said, oh, it's too much, and they left. The biggest risk that you face is that you give up. Yeah? And if you're one of those people who can cope going really fast, go really fast. But if you're struggling at snail's pace, go at snail's pace. But if you give up, you've lost. Because 1 + 1 + 1 eventually becomes a billion. But 0 + 0 + 0 is always 0. Yeah?
Would
So
it
if
would it be
you,
okay if we had a go though?
yeah, Bismillah, no worries.
Yeah.
With yours, I think you just, I had a look at yours, and you know, I'll give you some comments now whilst you're on the phone, just to save time. So, because I think everyone else will benefit from this as well. So I had 2 sheets, yours and somebody else. Okay. So good. You know, when you're looking at verbs, you're going onto corpus. So if you want to do the verbs as well, you click on the website, okay, and you click on the verb, and it tells you everything about the verb here, third person masculine. So when anybody writes this stuff, you're just copying it from here, okay?
Okay.
So it's very easy. And then, you know, you're going to naturally start to wonder, what is third person? I mean, masculine, everyone know, singular, everyone knows, but third person, some people know, some people don't. Yeah. Perfect verb as well. Perfect means like past tense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you studied Arabic before, sister?
Well, I'm kind of I'm actually an English teacher, so I do know grammar.
Right. You're an English
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
Ah, no
Or I
wonder.
was
Okay.
until I started homeschooling, but and I have studied grammar. I mean, not grammar, Arabic, but in a very different way.
Okay. Okay. What was the way that you studied it?
I think there was not much grammar focus as such.
Did you have a particular book?
I think it was.
Don't worry about it too much.
I
Don't
don't
worry
remember.
about it.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. From today, you can see why grammar is essential. Like if you don't, maybe if you do a long-term understanding of Arabic, where you're doing reading, writing, and the idea of not doing grammar from the beginning is kind of say, look, don't worry about it for now, because there is a risk. There is the reason why if you do some Arabic courses, they teach you what the sun is in Arabic and these sorts of things, is because by doing something easy, it gets you into it, and then it doesn't. You know, you feel that you're achieving something, you're getting those dopamine hits, so you keep going, and then you tackle grammar in the future at some point. The problem with that method is that that day where you tackle grammar never seems to come. You see?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's having, okay, let's have a revised approach. And that's why I love teaching kids, because you've got 5 to 10 years. Anybody who signs up for any of our kids classes, my feeling is that, inshallah, I have them for 5 to 10 years. Yeah? Because that's the easiest way of learning Arabic. It's very slow paced, very enjoyable, one concept at a time. We're just going to do prepositions. That's it. We're just going to do conjunctions. That's it. We're not going to do anything else. Yeah. And that's really nice. And that worked really, really well. For like Fatima and Uthman and Jamal, that's the way they did it. Very nice, very slow paced, and they enjoyed it. And they're really good now. Yeah. So, but you as adults, you don't have the luxury of that time. So we need to get going quicker. So we need to work at a faster pace. Okay. Have I answered your question, sister? So, I mean, I don't really have anything. I mean, if you know what the things that you've written mean, like if you say possessive compound, like if you actually know what a possessive compound is, good. If you don't,
Yeah.
write it down so that I can check if you're understanding, as opposed to putting like headlines. So if you are going to go into a bit deeper on some of the stuff, just make sure you know, you actually know what these terms mean. If you don't,
Okay.
just ask, and I can answer, inshallah. Some
Okay,
more
sure.
questions come through here. Let me just get through these. It's making more sense to me after your explanation. Good. Alhamdulillah, I'm glad to hear that, sister. For the 30-day document, which pages should you do a day? It's a challenge. Yeah, so there's 2 options. You can do the full 30 days, yeah? Or you can do, well, I mean, I would say you do this first. Do this first, okay? And then consider doing the full 30 days. Yeah? Because if you're not making any progress on this, there's no point going for the full 30 days. Yeah. Alia spoke to Samia. Who is Samia in this? Is she the subject? Right, put your mic on, sister, so I can have a chat with you both.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so the problem with the word subject, it's a synonym. Yeah, so you can say subject is like the subject of a book. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's called subject, but we put in the word doer because doer is the doer of the verb. Yeah. So that's
Okay,
what
yeah.
we mean by subject. So who is, so when we say Alia spoke to Samia, is Alia the subject doer? Yes.
Is she? That's a noun as well. She's a noun, is it? Like
She
Ali
is, yeah.
Yeah.
She is a noun. That's the word at the word level, she's a noun. But as a sentence, looking at it from a sentence perspective, is working out what role she's doing in the sentence.
Okay.
So the role in the sentence is that she's the subject doer. She's doing the verb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alia, and then Samia is the object, because the object, the next section is about the object. That's the next section. After you finish subject doer, we do the object. The object is the thing that's having the verb done to it. So if I said Ahmad picked up the phone is the object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
For example, 5a dual words. Is it the same if it's a transitive verb? Faris. Do I know you, Faris?
No, I never met you before.
Okay, that's fine, because I know another Faris who's been studying with me before. So, okay, so transitive, that's a complicated one. So, have you done some Arabic before, Faris?
No, but I learned other language before.
Okay, so what do you understand as transitive?
Because they did it to themselves, right? The two forces they met, meaning met to themselves. But
Yeah.
my question is it the same like the two forces hit someone else, or I don't know, hit another person?
So transitive, I'm not sure if you mean reflexive. So when you're doing it to yourself, that's called reflexive, not transitive. Yeah. Transitive is whether or not you can go directly to the object or not. So I'd say like sat. Yeah. Sat is intransitive because you have to say sat on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But seated is transitive because you can go straight to the object. You can say Ali seated Ahmad. You don't need to say Ali seated on the floor. So that's what transitive and intransitive is. This is nothing to do with transitive. That's to do with verbs. We haven't really talked about verbs. Okay. So don't run before you walk. Make sure that you really understand the subject doer. The point of this first section is the subject doer. And there's a reason why I've selected subject doer.
So does that mean the subject doesn't change even if the verb is different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the subject doer is the noun.
All right.
Transitive and intransitive is to do with the verb. So that's a separate exercise, which we'll cover in the future, inshallah.
All right. Thank you.
No worries. So hopefully you've all benefited from that. I wanted to make this interactive because I find that's where you get the most benefit, inshallah. Once you've got to grips with this, from next week, so we've done 5, we've got 4 weeks, inshallah. Next week, things change a little bit more. So up until, other than dual, everything was just Dhamma at the end. But at the ones that come after, there will be more to it. Yeah, there will be more stuff going on. So this is our second session. It's actually our third, but the first one was just an introduction. So this is like our second session, inshallah, where we go through things with examples and try and sort of implement what we've said, what we've learned. Honestly speaking, if you stick to the end, you will have, this moment that I've talked about before. Yeah.
Oh my God!
You will have a huge epiphany. Yeah. So this huge understanding of Arabic, but you have to see it to the end. Yeah. Because you are learning the structure of the whole Arabic language. Honestly. Yeah. So when we talk about like the structure of the Arabic language, it's like, take a car. Yeah. Everyone here pretty much, I think, can drive. So, there's different levels to a car. Yeah. So you've got like, you could be a car company's chief executive. You could be the factory manager, and all the different departments and materials and processes. You could just be like one engineer who maybe specializes in engines, or another person specializes in air conditioning, something like that. Yeah. You could be the car parts manufacturer. So you just one part of a car, you're involved in that. Then you could be a mechanic, yeah, who knows how to fix cars. But all of us pretty much are drivers. So we all have a basic understanding of a car. And that is so useful in life. Yeah. Having a basic understanding of a car is so useful. So Arabic isn't all or nothing. Arabic isn't I'm either Sibawayh or I'm zero. Yeah. That's the purpose of these sessions, is that you get an understanding for the structure of the language, how it works. Like I said, with the Pareto principle, when you focus on the most important 20%, you get 80% of the benefit. That's why I have to stick it to the end. It's not about understanding everything. It's not about getting everything right. And like I said in the group, if you wanted to go to Scotland, yes, the best way is to go by plane or by train. Yeah. But if you walked, you would eventually get to Scotland. One thing's for certain, though, is that if you stayed at home, you will stay where you are. You will never progress. And this will be a big regret that we have in our life, that we did not access the Quran. It was more important than our career, our family, anything else. This was the number one most important thing in our life. Okay, cool. So let's get straight into it again, inshallah. So let's first tackle, because it's very clear, the reason why we struggle with Arabic is because we don't know English well. And I was in that position as well. Don't think that I knew all of these things. I didn't. I had to go. I bought some English grammar books. I went and revised, because I was never really taught this at school, like most people. Okay? So take this sentence, Ahmed talked to David. Yeah? At the word level, we can identify what each word is. So Ahmed is a noun, talked is a verb, and to is a preposition, and David is a noun. Yeah? But at the sentence level, we want to know what's happening in the sentence. So that's why we call Ahmed as a subject. Now, don't get confused, subject like the subject of a book. Subject means the word that's doing the verb, the subject doer. Yeah? You can call it the doer if you want. Yeah? Talked is the verb, to is the preposition, and David is the object. So David is what's having it done to it. Okay? Now let's take two more examples before we get into the Arabic, inshallah. So I need a volunteer for this one. So this is about horses. So horses sleep in barns. Can someone just explain this to me, please? And this is English now, nothing to do with Arabic. Who wants to have a go? Like I said, don't all go at once, yeah? And you're all super excited. So this is English now. And it's just literally what I've just said in the last one. So nothing different.
Okay, I'll have a go.
Bismillah.
Bismillah. Horses is the subject. Obviously, it says it there, because they are doing the sleeping, which is the verb. In is the preposition, and the verb is done in the barns, so the barns are the object.
Okay, so question, sister. What's the role of the word horses in this sentence?
It's the subject of the verb. It's the doer of the verb.
Good. What's the role of barns in this subject?
It is the word which is having the verb done to it.
Excellent.
So
Now, this is very important now, because we're going to use this in Arabic. What's the sign that horses is in English now, what's the sign that horses is the subject?
The position in the sentence?
Good. Is that it comes first. What's the sign that barns is the object?
I guess the position as well.
Good. Now, you've got a preposition here. How would we know that it's a preposition? What would indicate that it's a preposition? What do you think?
Because it comes in between the verb and the object.
Good. Excellent. It's the same in Arabic. Yeah? In Arabic, you have a prepositional phrase. So in and barns, that we're going to cover that in the next section. Yeah? The third section. And also, in is connected to this verb sleep, which also is the same in Arabic as well. A preposition will be connected to a verb or something that comes from a verb. Okay? Good. Right. Who wants to do the next one? Thank you, sister.
Bismillah, I don't mind.
Okay, go on, Khalid.
Okay, so boats is your subject.
Yeah.
Float is the verb, so to float is would be the kind of and then you have the conjunctions of that conjugation. Sorry. So there's
no conjunction.
Sorry, no, I mean this is the to float would be the imperative form, and then you've got float, which is the conjunctive form here. On there's a preposition, and the water is the object.
Let's keep it simple. Let's say it's like a present tense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a present tense verb for boats. So boats is the subject. So it comes at the beginning. So that's how you know it's a subject. Then float on water, and water is the object. So the water is the object because it comes at the end after the preposition, and it's what the verb is kind of being done to. I'm not phrasing that correctly, but yeah.
Okay, we need to get very, very, very accurate with
Specific
this
on
word.
the
Is what the verb is being done to.
The verb is being done
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So boats is doing the verb, floating, and then it's water is the object. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's English. Yeah. If it's clear in our mind in terms of English, then let's go to Arabic with that in mind. Okay. Good. Okay. So we left off. We got to 5. So we're now moving on to 6. Now in Arabic, there's just a bit more to it. That's all. Yeah, there's just a bit more to it. So here we've got the word level. Okay. Some of these are straightforward. Some of these we can just use this simple explanation. So we'd say N is a noun. So we would write here, sorry, we're going from the right here. So rem, we need to search for rem because it's not here. So we can go and search for rem in the notes. Okay, resumptive particle. So basically rem is like a comma or a full stop. It connects the next sentence following a sequence of events. Because this ayah, هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره الكافرون. It's not a conjunction, it's just like a comma. And even if the disbelievers dislike it, and although the disbelievers dislike it, so that's what that wow is. Now this one is called a condition particle. Yeah. Again, you would look here, condition particle. Okay, there's quite a lot of this now. Okay, so condition particle sets a condition, which if met, something happens. Yeah. So even if this is like the condition, even if they don't like it, yeah, even if they don't like it, what's going to happen? Sometimes you get the answer to the condition, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. VS means verbal sentence, but as a rule, if I'm not talking about something, don't worry about it because until we're strong on what I'm talking about, we don't want to make it too difficult for ourselves. Yeah, but VS means verbal sentence. Okay. Verb is easy. So verb, this is just on page 21. It's a doing verb, doing word. Yeah, nice and easy. And then noun is a name, place, or thing. Okay, which makes sense because kafirun are disbelievers. Good. Okay, so now we've done the word level. Let's move on to the sentence level. So the sentence level, here we're doing sound masculine plurals. Okay, so the sign is changed. We're still talking about the subject doer, but the sign here for masculine plurals is different. Okay, in English, the sign is where it is in the sentence. That's easy. In Arabic, that's not the way it works. In Arabic, there's a specific sign you have to look out for. So if it's a masculine plural, the sign is the dhamma and the waw. So you can see there's a dhamma here, and you can see that there's a waw there. Yeah, that is the sign that it's a subject doer, because you also see in the Quran kafirin. Yeah, al-kafirin, wabil-kafirina, or something like that. Yeah, so you do find that. So if it's kafirin, then you know it's something different. But this is kafirun. So subject doer, this whole section, we're still on the subject doer, is the word that's doing the verb. So the kafirun, which verb is it doing? Who can call it out?
Kariha.
Kariha, even though they dislike. Yeah, and we know that kafirun are doing it because it is got a dhamma and a waw at the end. Okay, now you go away and you try the other ones. Okay, so I'm not going to extensively explain this, but you can see here, mutanafisun, it's got a dhamma and a waw at the end here as well, because it's doing this verb, yatanafas. Yeah, yatanafas is like to compete. Okay, and then you have another one here, al-muqarrabun. Aina yashrabu biha al-muqarrabun. Which verb is muqarrabun doing?
Is it drinking?
Drinking, excellent, yeah? It's drinking, yeah? and you got it labeled. Do you see how things now have got so much easier for us? That's why I built a syllabus around this website, because it's so much easier. How would you know that yashrabu is a verb if it wasn't labeled? You'd have to memorize it. Yeah. So, you know, again, we have to take advantage of the fact that things have become easier for us, and really try now to try our best to take this forward and learn it. Okay. So that's the sound masculine plural. Let's move on now to a category called the mabni words. Okay, so what are the mabni words? These are a category of words that never change. Sometimes they change a bit, but generally speaking, they don't change at all. And these are the pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, time adverbs, location adverbs, and relative pronouns, and also conjunctions, prepositions, and the definitive article alif lam. And also certain verbs that may be like past tense verbs. But do you see how it's useful that we learned what these different words are? Because now we know that there's a category of words that are called mabni. Okay, and all this means is that these words don't change at the end. There's no sign for you to look out for. Okay, so let's take this first one, Surat Al-Fatiha. Yeah, Sirat al-ladhina an'amta. So this ta is a pronoun. Okay, and it's also the subject doer. Yeah, the path of those that you, we're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you, O Allah, have favored on them. Yeah, so this here, the ta here, now there's no sound sign. When ta, it's always going to be ta at the end like that. Pronoun at the end is always going to look like that. Yeah, the same here, inna a'tainaka. Okay, so this a'tainaka is actually 3 words. This is why the color coding is also really useful, because Arabic, there's lots of words happening in like a tiny space. Yeah, so here you can see the na is a subject doer. We're still on the subject doer. We're still on the word that's doing the verb. Okay, who wants to explain why is na a subject doer? Let's see if we can do that. Who wants to have a go? And don't worry, if you don't get 100% right, I'm here to support you. So you have a go, and we're trying to work it out together. Okay.
Is it because na is the we? So
Excellent.
ata is the give, and then the ka is obviously that's different. It's pronoun at the end. That's for you, and then na is
Excellent.
we.
Well done, Thaqalain. You're a clever man. Yeah? Clever boy, mashallah. It's the first time you've interacted with me. You're getting it very quickly. So what you can do now is you can map the translation to the word. So you can say the a'tai is have given, the na is we, and the ka is you. Yeah, so it's like a sentence in English, but it's a one word in Arabic. A'tai, na means translated as we. That's doing the verb, and ka is the object, is the thing that has been done to. So this is indeed we. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, have given you, O Rasulullah, al-Kawthar. Okay. And this one here also is the same. Ya'budu, bal ya'budu. This wow here, it's always going to look like that. But in this case, let them worship. Yeah, them worship. They're going to want. They're the ones. They're the ones who are going to do the verb ya'budu. Okay. So these pronouns, part of getting used to them and learning them, is that you also then say, okay, that's the fa'il, etc. There's no sign. There's no dhamma at the end. There's no wow. It's just that's the way it looks. It's always going to look like that. Okay. So you're just gonna have to work it out. This ka here could be it could be an object like here. Sometimes it could be a possessive pronoun, baytuka, your house. So it would be something different. So it's not always going to be an object, yeah. But in this case, it is. Okay. So that's it. We've done the subject doer, yeah. Last week we did the singular word, broken plural, sound feminine plural, ghayr munsarif. That's a category of words. We're not going to explain what that is. Just know that there's a category for now. And dual words last week. And then this week we did the sound masculine plural and the mabni words. Okay? Now, here in the sentence we talked also about the object. So the next section now we're going to talk about objects. So we've done subject. Now we're going to do the object. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's have a comparison now. Okay, so 1a. Okay, so we're going to compare because this is the subject. How does it look different when it's an object? Same word, singular, dual, all that kind of stuff. How does it look different when it's an object? Okay. Right, so this is called maf'ul bihi. This was called fa'il. This is called maf'ul bihi. We're going to do the same category of words. Okay. So maf'ul bihi ma waqa'a alayhi fi'lul fa'il. Yeah. So whatever the word, so the word that the verb is being done to. Very important. Right, it's called maf'ul bihi. So let's start with the singular word. The sign of the singular word has got a fatha at the end. What was the sign when it's a subject? You can shout it out. Or put it in the chat if you prefer.
Was it a Dhamma?
Excellent. Yeah. See, you are getting it, sister. Yeah. Have to believe in yourself a bit more. So with a direct object, it's not a dhamma, it's a fatha. And this is where you can really change the meaning. There's an ayah in the Quran where you can get it wrong. It's actually kufr. Because Allah is the subject. Innama yakhsha. Sorry. Allah is the object. Innama yak or lafzul jalal, the word referring to Allah here. Innama yakhsha Allah min ibadihi al-ulama. That the scholars fear Allah. If you put dhamma on it, you're making Allah, astaghfirullah, fear the scholars. Yeah? So you can really change the meaning. So let's take some examples. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Okay, who wants to have a go at this? Mr. Ali, let's put you on the spot because you've been doing a lot of work on this, mashallah. Okay?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
right. You talk me through this. We'll do this live. I'm pretty confident you get this right.
Okay. So I guess fa is a conjunction, so.
Yeah, you know what? Don't worry about that yet. Don't worry about that
Okay.
yet. We'll
Yeah.
only do we'll do that next.
Okay. So ya'budu is the verb.
Yeah.
And the waw at the end, the pronoun is a subject pronoun because that is them, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
The ones that are worshipping. And then Rob is the object because there's a fatha.
Excellent.
And
excellent.
Basically,
yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Now imagine you're reading the Quran as you're picking all these things up. You're going to start spotting all these things. Yeah. It's like getting to grips how to drive. You know, when you first went in, I drove into a hedge when I first started driving. Yeah, it was quite embarrassing. Alhamdulillah, the car was okay. We were all okay. But that's everyone's, stalled, all that kind of stuff. Shadda the shadda is more to do with the word. So Rabb, that's just the way the word is set up. So that doesn't affect what we're talking about. Yeah, whether there's a shadda at the end or not. But the point here is that we know what's being done to what now. So let them worship Allah. Rabba hadha al-bayt. Yeah? Let them worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Now, of these, on the word level, all of these are from we said the core 12 words that always get repeated. So this little list here, let's go to it. So this little list here, demonstrative pronouns demonstrate. So they demonstrate. So this one here, Rabba hadha al-bayt, you're demonstrating which house you're talking about. This house, yeah. So demonstrative pronouns is this, that, these, those, yeah. Noun, easy. Pronoun, it provides a noun or is a proxy for a noun. Yeah. Where is it? Pronoun provides a noun or as a proxy for a noun. I say provides a noun because a lot of kids, they don't know what proxy means, but adults, we know what proxy means. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to the wrong one. So the only new one, conjunction, we've done a few times, is this one, imperative. Yeah. So what is imperative? Imperative put at the beginning of a word to make it a command, also known as imperative. Yeah. So it makes it lamul amr, it makes it a command. So let them worship. So that's what the lam does. Yeah. So the word level is very straightforward, and that's it. So Rabba, yeah, you also have وما يشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله رب العالمين. رب العالمين. Who knows an example of Rabb with a kasra at the end? It's a very well-known surah. It's right at the end of the Quran. See if you can get it. قل أعوذ.
قل أعوذ برب الناس.
Excellent. برب الناس. Yeah. Nasi. برب الناس. If you look at the nas, it's got a kasra at the end. Okay. We're going to cover that in the next section. Why it's got a kasra at the end. Okay. So that's singular words. You can finish that off, inshallah. So you got B. So you got here Jahima fatha at the end. And Naran. Naran. Why it's fathatain, not fatha, is a separate discussion. Don't worry about that now, but that's considered like a fatha. Okay? So that's singular words. Now we'll do broken plurals, which is exactly the same as singular words. Same sign. Okay? It's a plural, it's not a singular word anymore. The sign is also a fatha at the end. Who wants to explain this to me, please? Have the courage. Come on. Nothing's going to happen to you. Yeah? You're all clever people here, mashallah. So Judge 13, I don't know who you are. Judge 13, you are quite keen on asking questions outside the scope of these lessons. So I'm just going to have to say, you need to, the danger is that we confuse people in the class. So we'll do these at the end, inshallah, okay? Let's focus on my question. Why do you have a go at this? Judge 13. No? Somebody, Bismillah. Right. Go on. I was gonna pick on you. So it's good that you put your mic on without me doing that. Well done, Thaqalain. Go on, Bismillah.
Okay, Bismillah. Okay, maqabir, because of the fatha at the end, is, I'm guessing, the object.
Yeah.
So, and the verb is zurat. I said zurata, zurtum is you
Zurt.
visit. So
Yeah.
zurt, yeah, zurtum.
So actually, no. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Tum is the pronoun, and zur.
Yeah, zur is the verb to visit. So the verb visit is being done to the object, which is the graves.
Yeah. So you, when human beings visit the graves, it's takathur. Yeah. Hatta zurtum al-maqabir. Yeah. Now zur is only two letters. It's zara yazuru. There's a waw in the middle. It's dropped. Yeah.
Okay.
That's we cover that when you do verbs. Why does that drop? Yeah.
Okay.
But it's nice to be like intrigued by it. Why did it drop? You have to have that intrigue. You have to be like, it's good, Judge. I don't know who you are, Judge, but it's good that you're asking these questions. That's good. It's good to be curious. Yeah. But I just need to balance that between that and trying to get through the core of what we're trying to cover today, inshallah. Okay.
Can I just clarify the wording as well? So you would say the object is what the verb is being done to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you, as in all of us, me, you, all of us, visit the
graves,
the grave, yeah, which is the object. Okay. Now, if you wanted to then check what is inceptive particle, INC. Oh dear, there's a lot of inceptive particles.
I think it was INCV. I think it is.
No, it's just.
Oh, okay.
There you go. INC. So, used to start a new sentence. Okay, it's like behold in English. Behold, I have baked 3 cakes. It's used to start a new sentence that has some. By the way, I wrote all of this myself. Yeah, I had to like think of stories, all that kind of stuff. That's why for me, I'm passionate about this because, like, I don't want it just to be like wasted effort. I want people to study it. If that makes sense, because I think that this is something that's incredibly useful. Like once you know, hatta isn't always an inceptive particle. Then you can't. You'd be like, I wonder, is that hatta? Is it like, because sometimes they make it a preposition. Hatta could be like a preposition, yeah? Sometimes when, like in certain books of grammar, you have the prepositions. Then you think, okay, what is it? Harf ibtida, or is it a inceptive particle? And you have those discussions, yeah? Cool, okay, so that's the broken plural. You can do the other broken plurals. So, أثقالها, Surah Al-Zalzala, and then ورأيت الناس, okay? So we're on the last one. I said half an hour, we're pretty much there, half an hour. And also غير منصرف is exactly the same as well. So nothing new really today for this section. Cool. Okay, that's interesting, Faris. So you're saying in, I think Malay is influenced by Arabic as well, isn't it? Yeah, obviously Urdu, you told me the other day, isn't it? 30%. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so غير منصرف. So Ishaq is categorized as غير منصرف. Yeah. You might say it's a singular word. No, it's غير منصرف. It's a specific category. Okay. And again, you can see, let's see who can do this for me actually. Anybody? I've kind of given it all pretty much all away anyway. Who wants to have a go? What's doing the verb, first of all? What's the subject in this ayah?
Yeah, if I can try.
Yes.
So the verb is wahaba, I think. And
Yeah.
the doer or the subject is na, we.
Yeah.
And the objects Ishaq and Yaqub.
Excellent. There we go. That's it. We're done for today. Half an hour, done. We did 5. Last time we did 5. We've done half of them. We're good. Yeah? So let's open up for questions, inshallah, and discussion. I can now entertain some of your questions. So I'm going to prioritize audio questions. So if you want to put your mic on, and then I'll go to written questions after that. So anyone want to? You can just ask your question that you wrote. I prefer audio.
Yeah, I haven't finished going through the first 5 lessons yet, so I wasn't sure what does غير منصرف mean.
It's not covered in the first 5 lessons. Yeah,
I thought it was covered under subject.
No.
Oh, you said you didn't cover it. Okay.
Yeah. So غير منصرف is like, it's the same as like singular word, plural. It's just a category of words. So one of the categories of a word that's غير منصرف, for example, would be a foreign, like a name that's a foreign name. So Ishaq is like a foreign name. It's not like an original Arabic word necessarily. Yeah.
Okay. Is that because some of the names of the prophets are translated from the Hebrew biblical words or something?
So that's a category of words that would be غير منصرف. Also, female words, female names.
Okay.
Yeah. Would also be غير منصرف. So that would be another. You'd learn all the غير منصرف words. So don't worry yourself about that now.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that there's something called غير منصرف. Yeah. Okay. Who's next? Just put your mic on, inshallah. No? Okay. So I'll do the written questions and then we'll finish, inshallah. So why are some pronouns marked in gray? What do you mean? Like this one here? Okay. Judge, you're not helping me out here because you're not really putting your mic on and I can't really understand what you're saying. So the color coding does matter, but it's we're explaining what the color coding means anyway. So we don't need to worry about like why are things different colors. Why is a verb colored in green? It just is. They just colored it in green. Yeah, that's just the color coding they've used. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I know there's a temptation. Sorry, are you saying about catching up on the notes and stuff like that? I get that. I get that feeling that you feel. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, Jed. I get that feeling. I get that feeling. And I know that I'm saying stuff, oh, this is like easy. And you think, oh, I don't find it easy. I'm still not getting it. That's fine. But it's just a process. You go through it. Yeah. Now, if we compare the subject, let's compare the subject doer. So here, the subject doer had a dhamma at the end for singular words. Yeah. And for broken plurals as well, had a dhamma. Nas here. Broken plural here had a fatha. Yeah. So the main difference between subject doer and object is that the subject had a dhamma at the end and the object had a fatha at the end. Yeah. But then what's gonna get interesting is what happens when we get to the next category, the feminine plural words. What's that gonna have at the end? Well, funnily enough, these type of words have a kasra at the end. Yeah. So an object would have a fatha at the end. Yeah. But then it has a kasra at the end when it's a feminine plural word. I'll give you a really common example is jannat. وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ. Jannatin. Yeah. So why is it tin? Well, because it's an object. Yeah. So we'll cover these inshallah. So I'll just give you a bit of an example. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Yeah. So this kasra, with time you'll be able to notice it without these things. So we're wearing armbands, just started swimming. One day we'll take off the armbands. We've got stabilizers on our bike. One day we'll take off the stabilizers. It's a process. It's a process. You have to trust the process. You have to go on that journey and you have to stick with it and it will work. You did it in English. You can do it in Arabic as well. Okay? Right, we haven't got any more questions. It's nice to keep it short. I think I've answered everybody's questions.
I had one more, sorry. Very
What?
quick. What does broken plurals mean?
Right, yes, we did cover that last time. So there's 3 types of plurals in Arabic.
Okay.
Male plurals, female plurals, and then there's a category called broken plurals. So this just means that the word has been broken in the middle and then a letter has been put inside it, which makes it broken. Okay? For example, ins, alif, noon, sin means one man. Insan, you've broken it, you've broken between the noon and the sin, and you put an alif, insan.
Okay. Yeah. This is in Urdu as well. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay?
Fine. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
No worries. Anybody else?
Can I summarize? So if it's an object, it must have a fatha, right?
Depends which category. So for singular words, yes. For broken plurals, yes. For غير منصرف, yes. But then for feminine plurals, it's not a fatha now, it's a kasra.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So that's why I've worked out this is the best way to do it. We've done subject doer for all the categories. Yeah. So if we go back, let's go a bit more further up.
So, sorry, do we need to complete the sheets for the feminine plural?
You just need to work through the pack in order. So you would eventually get to feminine plural, yeah. Because what happens, sister, because I'm going through this is quite a fast pace, yeah? When you're going through it yourself, and because you're printing them off, aren't you? And then what happens, you'll compare then. Oh, okay. So I did the feminine plural. When I did it for a subject, it had a dhamma at the end. But now when I'm doing it for the object, it's got a kasra at the end. And in your mind, you'll make that comparison, okay? So these are all the categories. We did fa'il for all these categories, these 7 categories. Then we do it the same 7 categories, but for the object. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so we don't specifically need to get certain ones done for next week or anything.
No, I mean, this idea of, I think, mashallah, because you've been working through them at a good pace, but I wouldn't say that to anybody, like, your homework is to do it for next week and stuff like that. If you were in, if it feels like a more formal setting, and I had the authority, but I don't have the authority with you guys. If I say that to you, you'll just leave the WhatsApp group, which is what a lot of people have done.
Okay.
So I don't have that authority, and even with kids, I can only do that with certain kids who they're like on board. It's still hard work convincing parents the kids need to learn Arabic. It's hard work. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. It's really hard work. And it's kind of like, that's why we don't have it as compulsory. Like, it's compulsory to learn to read Arabic. No one argues with that. Obviously, that's why we're taking him to school. Yeah? A lot of parents say, yeah, to memorize surahs, yeah, to learn how to pray, yeah. Understand Arabic? No, we don't do that. That's not important. If I have time, if I finish everything else, after Taekwondo practice, oh, he's got football on that day. Or, you know, I can't say to him, cancel football. So, you know, just it is what it is. So if you can do what you can, like do what you can, go on this journey, and you will see trust me, if you get to the end of this pack, the whole jigsaw will come together. Yeah. You know, you will literally be like, you know, this guy. Yeah. Honestly, like it just fit. And then everything else in Arabic fits into what we've covered. Trust me, it all fits into what we've covered. Everything else. Because obviously there's more advanced stuff. Arabic is a very advanced language, but it all fits into this structure. Yeah? Good. Okay. Anybody else?
Sure.
Okay, we'll leave it there, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for staying up and attending. I think that was a good lesson. I enjoyed it. Hope you did as well. And I'll see you next week. Keep submitting your sheets and go on, Judge, quickly before I finish. Go on. What would be the difference between the phrase lam with sukoon for imperative and فَلْيَعْبُدُوا and so an imperative verb is when you're telling someone to do something. So if I say eat, I'm telling you to eat. Yeah. If I said eating, you're just eating. There's no imperative. I haven't made you do it. You're just eating. Judge is eating. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا, let them eat. That would be the difference. Yeah? Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think that's why you wanted to speak. Okay, that's fine. I think I've got everything then. So we are on our, technically it's our fourth lesson, yeah? But really it's like our third lesson because the first one was just an introduction, yeah? And like we said, the whole purpose of this is to focus on the 20% that gets us 80% of the benefit. This is called the Pareto principle, yeah? 20% gets you 80% of the content. So of the benefit. So there are lots of words in the Quran, but if you understand the core 12, you understand 90% of the words of the Quran pretty much. Yeah. There are lots of sentences and roles within a sentence that words can play. But if you understand the core 3, you'll understand all the roles. Yeah, and that will drop next week. You'll have that epiphany next week, inshallah. Okay. And the same with verbs. You learn one verb. And you understand, what was it? I think like 35% of the verbs. Okay. So let's just revise this then. So here we've got a sentence. So at the word level, Ahmed is a noun, talked is a verb, preposition is to, and David is a noun. But on a sentence level, Ahmed is the subject because it's doing the verb talked. David is the object because it's having the verb done to him, and to is the preposition. It links the this object to the verb. Yeah, it links it. Inshallah. Okay, cool. So we've established that the big reason why a lot of people struggle with Arabic is actually because they were weak in English, and that's fine. Once we own it, we accept it, we can overcome it. Yeah. And that's why this is so important that we take this approach, yeah? Because we weren't taught English grammar at school. It wasn't in the syllabus at the time. The good news is that the next generation, they are being taught English grammar at school, but our generation wasn't, okay? The other thing we said is we gave the analogy of the car, okay? Now, here, a car company CEO, my teacher's teacher who signed my ijazah, had like gone through this, I think, 3 or 4 times. This is called Nahwul Wafi. He wrote a PhD on the Hamza that's used to ask a question. Yeah, he did a PhD on that. So that's like the car company CEO. He's right at the top. Factory manager level may be like this, Sharh Qatrun Nada, which is like an intermediate Arabic book. Okay, we're just trying to learn how to drive. And what that looks like is that you can go to Corpus, you can take any surah that you're learning, you're memorizing, and you can analyze the Arabic. Using the color coding system, you can do that. So you can drive. And as you know from real life, it's not just the car company CEO that's getting all the benefit of cars. Yeah, he's the rich person or whatever, but the driver's also getting a lot of benefit of being able to drive a car. Okay, and that's the same thing with us. Is that when we say Arabic, it doesn't mean that I'm not a car company CEO, I don't know Arabic. No, yeah, you can be a driver. You just know how to drive. You can get from A to B, and you can get from A to B with any sort of that you're doing. Yeah, you just know what you're doing. Yeah, and for you guys, it's not going to be a big deal. But when a stranger sees what you can do, they will literally go,
Oh my God!
to them, like they have zero. They have absolutely zero. We don't want to be zero anymore. Okay, we don't want to be zero anymore. I know a lot of you have done some Arabic before, so you're not necessarily zero, but that's the goal, inshallah. Cool. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Let me start with this first. Somebody want to explain this again for me? Horses sleep in barns. What is doing what? So I'm going to call, if no one says anything, I'm going to call somebody out. So, sister, you know what? Safwan. Safwan's in the house. Safwan sending me a direct message. Now I'm going to pick on you, Safwan.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How you doing, bro? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Right, so just explain the English behind this for me, not the Arabic. What's going on here? Horses sleep in barns. What's doing what here?
So obviously, I think the horses are like sleeping in the barns.
Okay. So what is horses?
It's a noun.
No, we're talking about the sentence level. You're right. At the word level, it's a noun. What's its role in the sentence? It's labeled at the bottom, Stefan. That's the trick.
Oh, okay. It's the subject. So
What does that mean?
it's doing the verb.
What verb is it?
Sleep.
Good. What about barns?
Barns is having the verb done to it. Like
good. And what about in? What's in doing?
It's connecting barns to sleep.
Good. Yeah, sort of like that link in between. It's prepositioning barns. Sleep, and then in preposition the barn. But technically, what it's doing, it's linking, and there's the same in Arabic. That's what's called harf jar of the preposition links it to the verb. One of the ways to recognize a noun in Arabic is that one of the signs that a word is a noun is that it's got a preposition before it. Okay? Cool. Right. Sister Fayha, hope I've pronounced your name correctly, yeah? I know you've been in a few of these classes. Do you want to put your mic on? Have we go to the next one?
You've got boats, which is the subject.
Yep.
What being the object, that means what's happening to it. Float being the verb, and the preposition connecting the float and the water together.
Excellent, excellent. Good stuff. Yeah, nice and easy. Okay. Right. So let's go back to the Arabic. So we got to 10. We did 10A last time. So now we're going to start, and you're doing 10B for homework. Yeah. Now we're going to do the next one. So we're on now. So for people who just joined us today, yeah, we finished subject. So you can go back and watch the previous videos if you've missed that. Is that what we're doing today applies exactly the same. Yeah, it's the same principle. Yeah, obviously the specifics are different, but the principles are the same. Okay. So you've missed that. We're I wouldn't say halfway, we're some way through the object. Okay. Which is what we're going to talk about now. Okay. So it's called al-maf'ul bihi, the direct object, the word that the verb is being done to. Now, the reason why we say direct object is that there is another type of object which is out of the scope of this course. So, but the direct object is what we're talking about today. It's called maf'ul bihi, and we're going to cover it. We're going to go to now jam' mu'annath as-salim. In Arabic, there's 3 types of plurals: feminine plurals, masculine plurals, and something called broken plurals. So we've done broken plurals. Yeah, we're now on the sound feminine plural. The sign that this is an object is kasra. Now this one does confuse people, so that's why it's important to work through the notes, okay? Because the sign typically people think when they think of the direct object is what? What would people say? Someone shout it out. You need to have attended previous lessons to know this. Thaqalain, what do you think?
It would be fatha.
Excellent. Usually it's fatha. Okay, so that's why we have to go through this systematically. Okay, so Allah says in the Quran, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. T, it's got a kasra at the end. Okay, who wants to explain this? Go on then, Thaqalain, you might as well follow this through. So explain to me what's going on here.
From word by word.
So what's the direct object?
So the direct object you've highlighted as maf'ul bihi is salihat.
Okay, so just explain that in terms of the translation.
So maf'ul bihi means direct object, and the word is salihat, which means righteous deeds. In this, it's the noun, and that's because the verb that's being done to it is amala.
Amilu.
Amilu, sorry. So amilu.
Amil. What about what's the fa'il then? And what's the subject doer here?
The subject doer would be.
It's labeled. If you can find it, fa'il.
Yeah, it is the wa of amanu.
Good. This wow here. Yeah.
It's just the wow by itself. Yeah.
So there's two. This is Surah
two.
Al-Asr. This is a surah you probably recite very regularly. Now you know what's going on. Yeah. So illa alladhina, except those. Alladhina. This is a relative pronoun. Okay. And this is a good example. If you don't really understand what relative pronoun is, this is a good example that you've all memorized that you can really understand it. So you've got, this is called the sila. This is called the mawsul. Alladhina. So I give the example before, if you look at the notes. I love the gift that, so the word that is a relative pronoun, that my uncle gave me last Eid. So my uncle gave me last Eid is the sila. And that is the mawsul, the relative pronoun. Yeah. So here, except those or those who, and all the bit after it is connected to it, this whole sentence. Okay. So what is it? Because what does the surah say? Everyone is in loss, illa, except. Now, this is something, the exceptive particle, you could go and search for it here. Okay, might take a bit of time. There we go. Exceptive particle. Yeah. So here, makes certain things an exception. That was istithna. Okay. So like you say, all your school friends can come except those who left last year and moved abroad. Yeah. So that's what an accepted particle does. So that's something new you haven't seen before. The rest are all in those core 12 that we've talked about. Everything else, verb, pronoun, conjunction, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So Allah saying, except those who believe. So there's two verbs that the people are doing: believe and do. But do what? Do what? They do good deeds. This is the object. These are the things that people do. Yeah. And then the ayah after it, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Okay? Now, but if you didn't have any of these labels, the way you would recognize that this is the direct object is that kasra. So the sign is the kasra. Yeah? Because it's a feminine plural. Good. Okay, so that's 11a. You can do 11b. خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ. And you can do 11c. يدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. Yeah, jannat. Jannat is a very common feminine plural. Yeah, and it will throw you because you'll see it with the kasra. This was one of the big things that made me want to learn grammar. I was memorizing Surah Al-Baqarah and I was making it's at page number, what is that? 1, 2, 3. وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Yeah, I wanted to know why has that got a kasra at the end? Yeah, why has that got a kasra? Let me just double check I didn't get that wrong. So Surah Al-Baqarah. Yeah. وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ. So وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ as well. There's another feminine plural. And جَنَّاتٍ. Why they both got kasra on it? Because my level of Arabic at that point was that if it's got kasra after it, there was only one reason for that. And that didn't apply. So I got really confused. Yeah. Right. The next one. Still on maf'ul bihi, we're still on the direct object, but now we're doing dual words. So remember, in Arabic, you have singular, dual, which is for two, and then plural. So in English, you'll have singular, plural. No, in Arabic, you also have a dual. But the sign for this now is changed. The sign of this is a fatha and a ya. Okay? Do you remember what the sign was when it was a subject doer? Anyone call it out?
Dhamma.
Dhamma.
Yeah.
Nope, not dhamma. Not for the dual word. Think of Surah Al-Masad. Tabbat yada. Yada. Yeah? Yada, it means two hands. The two hands of Abu Lahab. So the sign there is a fatha and an alif. Here's a fatha and a ya. But there was a fatha and an alif. And I said here, it's signed as a fatha and a ya near or at the end. It could be right at the end like yada, or you could be yadani. There could be a noon at the end, which sometimes drops. Okay? Right, let's look at an example. So, if you want to have a go, you can put your mic on, inshallah. So Allah says, Alam naj'al lahu aynayni wa lisanan wa shafatayni. So there's actually two here. There's aynayn and there's shafatayn, because you have two eyes and you have two lips. Yeah? So now you know how to recognize a dual word. It's either aynan or aynayn. So it's got an or ain at the end, then it's likely to be a dual word. Okay? So anyone have a go explaining this for me? Sister Nayab, you've been working through the sheets. Let's have a go. If you can put your mic on.
So with the two words, I'm just looking at this exercise. It's got a the
So
last letters both
let me
have
give you a tip, yeah? Link it to the verb. So what's the verb that these direct objects are linked to? Remember, it's colored in green and it's got a V underneath it.
najal.
Naj'al, excellent, okay? So then look at the translation. We made, yeah? We made.
Yep.
So who
We
do
made
you
for
think,
him 2 eyes and
yeah, who do you think here is the we? What do you
say
think?
that again. Sorry, I don't understand the
Who do you
question.
think here, when it says we made, who do you think here is we?
So God. So
Good,
we
excellent,
made.
excellent. Yeah, this is the royal we. Yeah,
Yeah.
even the queen, when she was alive, she would say we the queen. She'd refer to like we, and when she went as like we and her army and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Wa alaikum salam, sister. Who's just joined. Fahim, what were you asking about the noon? Does it always end with a noon? No. So like tabbat yada, there's no noon at the end. These two have a noon. Shafatain and aynain. Okay. Now, how do we know, sister, that it is an object and not a subject? So we said here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing the verb. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, you could say, you know, the subject, the one doing the verb. Yeah. But how do we know aynain and shafatain are the object? What's the sign?
Kasra.
Kasra? No.
Yeah.
Not the kasra.
No.
That was the sign for the feminine plural. You're correct there. That was the sign for the feminine plural. But for the dual word, what's the sign? It says it at the top here.
Fataniya.
Fatha and Niya, okay? So, do you want to tell me where the Fatha and Niya is in aynain? On which letter is
That's
the
it.
Fatha?
On the and the noon. And then you've
Noon,
got
this
the
noon here,
after.
yeah? And then
Yeah.
the ya after it. What about
Yeah.
shafatain?
So the fatha's on the ta, and then you've
Ta.
got the ya after that.
Excellent. On the ta and the ya, okay? This noon
Mhm.
can drop, so we can't rely on the noon, yeah? We can't rely on the noon. So, that's the dual word, okay? And then there's another example you can do here. وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْن. Also, this is Surah Al-Balad, I think, yeah? And then another one here, Surah Al-Qiyamah. It took me a long time to find these examples, yeah? So please have a go, think about them. Zawjain, yeah? Think about what's going on, okay? We're still on direct object. We've done 2, got 3 to go. Now we are on Jam'ul Mudhakkar Salim, yeah? The masculine sound plural. Now the sign for this is Kasra Anaya. Not Fathanaya, Kasra Anaya. Okay, so it's quite precise. So we need to be very clear because it is quite precise as to what makes this happen. But look, the beauty of this is that you're on the journey. It will just get easier from now on. Yeah. And I've helped you by focusing. I mean, look at how big these books are. Okay. You know, you could get lost. And there are people, I mean, no one will teach you this, yeah, to start with. But there are people who will teach you something, you know, like the book below this as the beginning. And that's why people get a bit overwhelmed. So I'm focusing on what gets you the absolute most benefit from the beginning. Okay. Yes, it will always be at the end of the word. It will always be at the end of the word. Good question, Dilar. Right. So this one. Okay. فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. Hopefully these are surahs you are quite familiar with, because I tried to pick things from Juz' Amma, Juz' Tabarak. Yeah. So hopefully you're like, oh, I've been reading this my whole life, and now I know what this is. Yeah. Who can tell me what REM is? If you've been doing the sheets, you should now really know what REM is. What does REM stand for? Who wants to have a go? Anybody? Is that Sister Misbah? Is that Zoya's mum? I don't like putting people on the spot. But then if you don't ask, you don't get. If I don't ask people, I won't get anything. No? So it's called resumptive particle. Yeah? It's like a comma or a full stop. Because the ayah وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. It's not like it's not a conjunction. It's just like a comma and then you carry on. It's just like a brief pause, if you like. Yeah? That's what the fa does. Everything else is from the core 12. Verb, noun, etc. So you can see why what I was saying was true. Yeah? There's not much new stuff. The odd one you go back and you check. If you do the pack of the remaining 10%, we get half of them done. So you're like, with this pack, you're doing 95%. Yeah? Good. Okay. So who wants to have a go at this one then? Anybody? Otherwise, I have to pick the same people. You know, when I was in class, I would hate these moments. I would be like, please don't pick me. Please don't get, because we would have to read the book and it would have no vowels and you had to get it right. So you had to, on the spot, read and know all the grammar and apply it instantly. And if you get it wrong, you get like told off. Yeah. So I know that feeling. Okay. But what I learned is that, and I had to push myself, is that if I put my hand up and read, I was the person getting the most benefit in the class because I'm reading and my teacher's correcting me. Yeah. Whereas everyone else is not getting that benefit. Okay. So have the courage to give it a go. Sister Suraya, do you want to have a go? No? Right. Either Thaqalain or Fayha or
I'll have a go, inshallah.
Okay, who's that?
Dilawar.
Okay, go for it. Bismillah.
Bismillah. I did want to start off with a question about the resumptive particle.
Go on.
You said that it's a comma or a full stop, but where I don't see where it would be in that translation. So give respite. Is it so, comma, give respite?
Yeah, it'd be like
is that
so.
What you mean?
So, yeah, you could say it's like so. Yeah. My feedback to your sister Suraya is you feel like you always need to catch up, but you are able to do this without having caught up on anything else before. I do believe that. Yeah, I do believe that. So I know I get that feeling. I have missed stuff out. You didn't print things. I get that. Okay, but trust me, you can. Ibrahim asked the question: does it encompass so masculine plurals would also, if you had a group of men and women, you would use a masculine plural. If you had a group of just women, you would use a feminine plural. That's actually quite a good question, Ibrahim. Well done. Yeah, Ibrahim, the Ibrahim I saw in Jummah today. Just say yes if you are in the chat. Yes, brilliant. Well done. Okay, right. Is it? Do I pronounce it Dilawar?
Dilawar.
Dilawar. Okay, go on then, Dilawar. Tell me what's the subject here then? Before we get onto the object.
Okay, subject. Sorry. The disbelievers.
No.
Right. They're the object.
That's the object. Okay. So the ayah, think of the translation. I was always taught التركيب تحت المعنى. The grammar is based on the translation. Yeah. So what's the translation? Who's talking to who in this ayah? Do you know?
This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Excellent. Allah's talking to the Prophet peace be upon him.
Anta means you, isn't it? That's
excellent. Yeah. So he's talking now. Here's something that you've learned that's new. In Arabic, you can have stuff that's hidden. Okay.
Right.
You could have it in English as well. If I said to you, get the shawarma, yeah, get the kebabs. There's a subject there that's hidden. I'm telling you, you get the kebabs, but you don't have to say you. You can say get the kebabs. Yeah. It's the same here.
Okay.
So it's hidden here that Allah's saying to the Prophet ﷺ, so give them respite. To who? So what's the object here? Dilawar, sorry for mispronouncing your name. Yes? What's
okay, so I'm getting confused between the subject and the object here now. So Allah is talking to the subject. Allah
the
is
Prophet, peace be upon him. And he's telling the Prophet, peace be upon him, to give respite to the disbelievers.
Disbelievers, okay.
Okay, it's like I said to you, I can do the same, say go and get the kebabs. It's the same. So go and get the kebabs. So give respite to the disbelievers. And we know disbelievers are the object because you can do this one.
Yeah, I can see this part because of the ya.
Good. This ya. Excellent. And what else?
Sorry. The kasra beneath the ra.
Excellent.
And then
So this
the ya
kasra
next
and
to
the
it.
ya. Why? Because we also have a surah where we say قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. Yeah? Kafirun. So there, that can't be an object because it's kafirun. If this object needs to be kafirin. Okay? Cool. Okay. Let's skip next to the next one then. So you can do 13b and 13c. Now we've got maf'ul bihi now for the mabni word. So what's a mabni word? Well, we've mentioned this before. All of these are mabni words. Mabni words are words that don't have a sign. They just always look the same. So these include pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, time adverbs, location adverbs, relative pronouns. They also include conjunctions, prepositions, and the definitive article as well. Okay? And also certain verbs are also mabni. So here there's no sign. You just have to know that it's the object. Okay? So famous ayah from the Quran. Ya Allah, now I understand it. Yeah? I can actually understand what's going on. Yeah. So, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Who wants to have a go at this?
Okay, I'll have a go. Bismillah.
Bismillah.
So firstly, the subject again is hidden, like with the previous example. So the subject is anta.
Good.
And I guess so. Guide us. You. So you is now actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are saying Allah guide us to the straight path. So anta. So that's fa'il. That's the subject. And the direct object maf'ul bih is na. So ihdina. Ihdi is the verb in green, and then na is us. So guide us to the straight path.
Do you see how now you can map the translation to the words?
Yeah,
you know,
it's quite
guide is
important.
ihdi. You know,
Yeah, the
us is na. Yeah. How beautiful is that? Yeah. Now there's no sign here. There's no fatha. There's no na. It's always going to look like that. Na could also be a subject. You could say darabna. Yeah. That we hit darabna. Ihdina. So the na, this na pronoun can actually has a dual role. It can be a subject. It can be an object as well. How do you know? You have to think about the meaning. What's happening in the meaning? And with time, it becomes second nature. Okay, you have to believe that. Like you learn language as a child, with time, it will become second nature. Okay.
But there is a second direct object, isn't there, which is sirat, right?
There is, yeah.
Maf'ul
That's the
bih.
second direct object. Good stuff. And you can see, we know it's an object because it's got what at the end?
A fatha.
Yeah, because sirat is a singular word. So we've already done that. Yeah,
Okay.
already done that. Okay. So we've done dual, we've done masculine plural, we've done mabni words. And you can do 13b and 13c. And we have now done the direct object. Yeah. We finished the subject, we finished the direct object. We're 2/3 of the way there. Yeah. Who'd have thought you've made it this far, mashallah, yeah? Incredible. Incredible. Well done. Pat yourself on the back. Okay, good. Right. Enough comedy. Let's keep going. So we've done singular words, broken plural, sound feminine, ghayr munsarif, dual, sound masculine plural, mabni. Now we're going to do the first 2 here, and then we'll do the last 5 next week, inshallah. Okay. Good. Right. Singular words. Now we're going to do the prepositional phrase, harfu jar. Yeah. Harfu jarrin wa ma waqa'a ba'd harf al-jar. Yeah. So the preposition and what comes after the preposition. Yeah. First one. We're going to go back to the singular word. The sign now is a kasra. So the sign for the singular word for subject was dhamma. So that object was fatha. The prepositional phrase kasra. Okay. Nice and easy one to start with. Who wants to explain this for me? Safwan, you explain this, please. It's good that I have people here that I can pick on because Safwan, I can get away with picking on him.
I couldn't hear you like properly. Cut out. Can you repeat
Cut
the
out.
question?
Right.
Yeah.
So the question is, what here is the preposition? Do you know? You've missed lessons, so I'll see if you can get it.
Is it the ba?
Excellent. Yeah. Be with a kasra and it is a preposition. So what is the word after the preposition?
Ismi. Oh, sorry.
Ismi. Excellent. What's the sign that it's the word after the preposition?
Does it because it has a kasra at the end? Or...
Yes, it is, mashallah. Very good. Okay, that kasra there. That's it. It's no more complicated than that. So a preposition followed by the word after it has a kasra at the end. Okay? And we've got the final one for today, so you can do this one. Alhamdulillah, he has got kasra at the end as well. And min sharril waswasil khannas, got a kasra at the end here as well. Yeah? What about the broken plural? So for those of you who were hurt, I need to correct something I said last week. I said that nas, so ins is the singular. You break it and you put an alif in the middle and it becomes nas. Last week I misspoke and I said insan. Insan is a different word. So ins, singular, you break it between the nun and the sin, you put an alif, it becomes nas. That's why it's called a broken plural. Okay? So the broken plural example here is الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. Yeah? So what is the broken plural here? Which word? Who wants to have a go? This is the last one. So if you don't have a go now, you've missed your chance. Anybody? No, you have to put your mic on. Go on, sister. You're right and you're wrong. No? She put it in the chat, but she doesn't want to put the mic on. Okay. Anybody? Call it out. Someone call it out. Go on, Fahim. Suraya, you're right and you're wrong. Go on, Fahim, you got your hand up. I don't know what, you need to have a go. Unless you
Is
put
it
your hand up.
Suduri?
Excellent. Yes, you got it. Excellent. Yeah. Well done. Sudur, oops, wrong one. Yeah. So a lot of you said nas. Nas is a broken plural, but it's not after the preposition. Yeah. Sudur is after the preposition. Now, why is it a broken plural? The singular of sudur is sadr. Sadara. It's broken. You put a waw in the middle, it becomes a plural. Sudur. Yeah. But what's the sign for him that it is after the preposition? What's the sign? Okay, I'll put it at the top here for you. Anybody? Somebody call it out?
Kasra.
The kasra, yeah? The kasra here. So well done, sister, yeah? That kasra here, that is what's the sign that it's after a preposition. Okay? And that's it for today. We're 3/4 of the way through the pack. We're 4/5 of the way through the 5 lessons, and we're done. Yeah. Some of you have sent a lot of good stuff on the group. Yeah. The main thing I wanted to say to I'll give some feedback on that after the recording, inshallah. But let me open up for some questions, and then I'll give you some specific feedback. I think Sister Nayab submitted a lot of stuff. The other sister, who's done a really good job, but she's not here today, so I will do that separate, inshallah. So any questions?
I have a question.
Bismillah.
Okay, on this broken plurals.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's a wow and then there's a kasr, why is that going to help me? Knowing that.
You tell me.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand.
So go back to what we were doing here. Where is it? So we were going here. Okay. How do you know what's happening here? How do you know that the barns aren't sleeping in the horses?
Okay. Because we know that the horses are sleeping in the barns.
Why? How do you know that? Think about it.
The horses, what we are talking about, are doing the verb, which is sleeping.
What is it that you take for granted that maybe somebody learning English from China wouldn't necessarily know?
I think you've said it before, which is that the subject is always at the beginning.
Excellent.
And I do take it for granted because I've never thought about it before.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you take it for granted because in English it's the order. In Arabic it's not the order. You can change the order, and it's still, and in fact that regularly happens. One of the things that I will test a teacher who I want to employ is when the order is changed, do they still get it wrong? Today, one of the teachers, I interviewed a teacher, and she almost got it wrong. She actually made a mistake, and then she corrected herself. And I said, you were this close to me losing faith in your ability. Yeah. Because you can have it, the order switch around. Yeah. So in Arabic, it's the sign at the end of the word. You see? Now, the prepositional phrase, to know that it's a prepositional phrase, yeah, one approach is to memorize everything. But the other approach, which is the more efficient approach, is if you know the sign, if you know sudur is got a kasra on it because of this preposition, you know this preposition, then you'll say to yourself, well, what is this preposition attached to? Because a preposition is going to be linked to a verb. So what preposition is this linked to? Or which verb is this preposition linked to?
Right. So because of this, we know that it's not linked to of mankind. We know in this that it's linked to the sudur. Suduri.
Not
right.
Which verb is it linked to? Fi.
Sorry, it's not a verb, it's linked to the noun, isn't it?
No, it's linked to a verb.
Right, okay.
It's linked to a noun and linked to it. Look, if you think of it in English, in is linked to the noun and it's linked to the verb. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
You need both, don't you? You need to link the preposition, because what it's doing is telling you the relationship between the two. It's sleeping in barns, sleeping on like here, float on water. So it's a different relationship. You can say float in water. That doesn't make sense. You can say sink in water. It's a different relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So in English, it's purely just the order, but here you have these signs at the end of the word which also tell you what's going on. Yeah. So for example, the sudur here, it's got the kasra, so we know it must be linked to fi because it's got kasra at the end. So then we have this prepositional phrase, and then we can link. That's what this thing here is called muta'alliq. It links this then to the verb yuwaswisu. Yeah. So this is what you're doing. So now what you do, firstly, you link these two words together. We haven't covered this, called mudaf ilay. Yeah, basically mudaf ilay is of, the way you say of in Arabic. So we've linked that. Then we link this to the fi. Okay. Then we can link all of this, fi sudur nas, all of it, we can link it to yuwaswisu. And then we link all of this, yuwaswisu fi sudur nas, all of it, we link it to alladhi. Yeah. How beautiful is that? Yeah. And it's all linked in, it's all diagramized, everything. And that's when you know you understood the ayah. Yeah? That's what's called tarkib. You're literally like a jigsaw, like a Lego blocks. You're putting up that connects to that connects to that. Now, if you took away all of these signs here, how would you know what it is? You rely on the end of the words. The definition of grammar is you understand what's happening at the end of the word.
Okay. No, that's great.
Answer your question? Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think what's happening is because I'm doing the part of a sentence at a time, it's about the whole sentence, isn't it? So I should always be looking at the whole sentence throughout. Is that
yes, you're operating at three levels. You're looking at the words. You need to know what each word is. Because if you know this is a relative pronoun, then you'll know every relative pronoun needs to have a sila, needs to have something it's connected to. Yeah? Every preposition needs to be connected to a verb. These are rules that you'll pick up with time. Yeah?
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. So I'm glad
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
I'm getting some good comments about this explanation. Yeah. So just for those of you who missed it.
Quickly ask, sorry, what does PP mean in VS?
Prepositional phrase. So under any preposition, you always have this PP, prepositional phrase, and then verbal sentence, because it begins with a verb. All of this is a verbal sentence. You could have this by itself. Yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas.
Okay.
You don't need, but then it's have alladhi. So all of that's connected to the alladhi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. Okay. Any other questions?
I had one question. It's a little bit of like kind of extra miscellaneous. It's not particularly related to any of the content of the question of the stuff we learned today. It's a bit. I don't want to distract from the main thing that's been learned and confuse people. That's the only thing. Basically, in the examples for mabni words, if you could go back to those, in the first two, yeah, for example, this one. What is and here as well. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim as well. No. In the
I don't want to do that because we haven't done the prepositional phrase. Let's do the object. We've done the direct object.
Okay. I was just going to ask what was the point of the, because I can understand where there's brackets for huwa and nahnu where the pronoun has been hidden, because in Arabic I don't think you always need to have the pronoun, which is fair, so it's dropped. But what's the asterisk? Like, I didn't realize there would be an asterisk before Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Good question. Okay. Sometimes things can be hidden. So here, the preposition is, we said, needs to be linked to a verb. Where's the verb?
Well, I guess.
So there's a hidden verb. The hidden verb is abda'u. I start in the name of Allah, the Most Gracious, Merciful.
Ah, right. Okay, I never knew that. So
we have to be very mindful, that I don't give you too much.
Fine. Okay.
I want you to be hungry. I want you to want more. Yeah, you're still here. We've actually increased our number of participants, even though we've gone past the half-an-hour mark, which shows that people now are hungry. This is my goal. I've enjoyed in this process. I said to my brother today, I want to teach Arabic to 1 million children. I just plucked up this number from thin air. I have this ambition, inshallah, okay? Before I die. But it's just as important. And when I'm interviewing teachers now, I say to teachers, number one, you have to make the lesson fun. Number two, you have to teach them Arabic. If you make the lesson boring, the child will leave the lesson before he has an epiphany or she has an epiphany and starts to enjoy and love Arabic. There will come a time we enjoy it. Okay, you can do the same here. I know you enjoyed the last one. Let's do this one as well. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Adjective. Now, this is something we haven't covered before, but adjectives copy. So this adjective is just copying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this one as well. That's how they've both got kasras at the end. Yeah. So now we've got, this is now a block. Allah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All of this is mudaf ilay to ismi. Yeah. So mudaf ilay, it just means of, the way you say of in Arabic. So name of Allah, most gracious, merciful. And then all of that is connected to the preposition. And then the preposition is connected to the hidden verb abda'u. I begin with. Yeah. I find it very, very, I don't know, like mystic. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what's the word, like very elegant. That's the word I was looking for. Very elegant, how everything's connected together. Okay. Now, we did this book called Sharh Mi'atu Amil, where the whole book is connected to the first preposition in the book. The whole book, eventually, you do the whole book and you connect all of it back to the initial preposition. Yeah. You can do that. You connect the whole Quran to this ba. If you think about it, starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yeah?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
Any other questions? Does that answer your question? Good question, Thaqalain. Good question.
Okay, Jazakallah, thank you.
Anybody else?
I've got a question.
Bismillah, go
on. So it's to do with the pronouns. So I'm a bit confused with the difference between the endings of the object pronouns, the possessive pronouns, and the subject pronouns as well, because when they come after the words, they all look the same, and I'm not sure on how you can decipher between them.
Right, okay. So what I'm going to do after Ramadan, I have a weekly class, and I'm going to teach pronouns at a very basic level, step by step, because pronouns can be confusing. Yeah? And it's explained in the notes. If a pronoun is attached to a verb, it's an object pronoun, or a subject pronoun, depends what type of verb. If it's attached to a noun, then it's going to be a possessive pronoun. If it's by itself, it's going to be a subject pronoun. Okay?
Okay.
And then just to make things more interesting, if it's attached to a passive verb, it's an object pronoun.
Okay.
So you're just going to have to you have to work through it. But what we're going to do, I'll tell you the plan after Ramadan next week. Okay? That's the plan after Ramadan, inshallah. Cool. Okay. Any other questions? But it's all in the notes. You can check, you can read them. It's all in the notes. But you just have to, you're going to have to get, it just needs practice. Needs practice. The way that I would advise all of you is take your favorite surah and analyze it. Go to Corpus. Okay? So this is the website we built our syllabus on. May Allah reward the team. It's all there. Okay? You can go to this thing called Syntactic Tree Banks, and you can pick, they've done a third of the Quran. Okay? It's got all Juz' Amma, everything in here. You just go in and you can analyze what's happening. Okay? And you'll get this, initially this is scary, but with time you won't find it scary. Okay? Any other questions? What if your favorite surah is too long? Surah Al-Baqarah has all been done, Safwan. See, what Uthman and Jamal and these boys do is, because they're memorizing, particularly if they are making the same mistake over and over again, they go and check the grammar. And if they still don't understand what's happening, they come and ask me. Yeah? And they find it very, very useful. I don't know if you saw Uthman's video. Put your hand up in the chat if you saw Uthman's video. Let's just have a see. So Uthman did a little video in the WhatsApp group. Fahim, Suzanne. Yeah? So Uthman's been there with me from the beginning. I think Allah blessed me with some really clever students, because if they didn't get it, I might have given up. So he's quite a clever boy, mashallah. So he picks things up. Yeah. So him and Jamal. Jamal and Fatima. Those were the three. And of the three, I think Fatima probably, because she was 6. So when a 6-year-old's getting it, you think, okay, I must be doing something okay. So I'm sure you'll all agree, now that we've got to the final video, what we meant when we were talking about learning how to drive. Yeah? you know, it'd be great to become the car company CEO. But by different definition, there's going to be few people who reach that level. And it requires a certain amount of dedication, time, you know, also starting at a younger age, these sorts of things. But everyone can learn how to drive. Everyone can learn how to drive. It should be a universal thing. So by the end of today, you're going to have this huge epiphany. You're going to see how it all fits together and why we focused on the things we focused on. When you work through the pack, you'll understand what we mean by the Pareto principle, because the same things come over and over again. In fact, some of you, I've said to you, look, you don't need to tell me what a noun is anymore. You don't need to tell me what an adverb is anymore. Yeah, you know these things now. Okay, you just now need to focus on the new concepts, so you can see it in action. And on a sentence level, you'll really understand that at the end of this lesson, inshallah. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so we finished 15 last time. Now we're on to 16a. Okay, so it's a sound feminine plural, and I always say this: you want these 3 steps. Number 1 is which area, which type of word are we talking about? So sound feminine plural. That's the first thing you say, number 1. Number 2, when it's after a preposition. Number 3, it has a kasra at the end. You need these 3 steps. You always have to say the 3 things, yeah? Sound feminine plural, after a preposition, it has a kasra at the end. So the example we have is in Surah Al-Adiyat, wal-adiyati. You can see the kasra here, okay? So the who can remember, who can give me a summary then? So we've done all singular sound feminine plural. So you can give me the 3 options that are available. Who wants to shout them out? Emily? No? Okay. So for the sound feminine plural, it was dhamma for the fa'il, kasra for the maf'ul bihi, the direct object, and kasra for the word after preposition. So dhamma, kasra, kasra. Okay. What about the singular word? What's the easy one? The singular word. What was it for fa'il, maf'ul bihi, and majroor? What was the sign for each of the 3? Who can remember?
There was dhamma. Sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Dhamma?
Yeah. For the file.
Yeah.
For the object, it was fatha, and for the prepositional phrase, it was kasra.
Excellent, excellent, mashallah. Well done. I think that deserves an air horn. Oh dear. Have to use the air horn, yeah, even if it messes up the screen. So good, thank you, sister. Okay, so there's a few more examples here. Min al-mu'sirati, Surah An-Naba, and wan-nazi'ati. You can see they have a kasra at the end as well. Okay. Nothing new in terms of the word level. We've covered all of these now, yeah. And one of the things that you'll pick up. This is really important. This is a wow, and this is a wow. This is a preposition, this is a conjunction, yeah? This is the wow of oath. This is the wow that connects words together, yeah? These things you're picking up through just going through the sheets, yeah? It's very effective. If I sat you down and was to explain this to you, you would just, you know, most people just get overwhelmed, yeah? So there's a beauty of doing it. I think what's the secret behind this particular method is that we're doing ayahs from the Quran. That's what I think the secret is. Yeah, it's the fact that it's anchored and centered around the words of Allah. Yeah, and there's a blessing behind that. Cool. Okay, right. After preposition for غير منصرف. So غير منصرف is a category. We haven't explained all the details of what's in this category. And you might think, well, why is it here? Because it was the same. Dhamma for the fa'il, fatha for the maf'ul bihi, but here it's signed as a fatha. So we're used to it being a kasra, but it's not, it's a fatha. Now this will, if you do not know this, this will confuse you when you read the Quran. This confused me to bits. Because there's one ayah where it was all ghayr munsarif words, and in the middle you have this word called asbat, which is not ghayr munsarif, had a kasra at the end, everything else had a fatha. I did not know what was going on, it was very confusing. Yeah. So here, ghayr munsarif, after the preposition, the sign is a fatha. Okay. Ila fir'auna. كما أرسلنا إلى فرعون, not فرعوني, فرعون. Yeah. Another one here, على إبراهيم وإسماعيل, فتحة. After preposition, Yeah. So now you know the importance of why this is the case. So this could be something that confuses you if you're not familiar with this. Yeah. And then Nusut an-Nisa ila Maryama. Yeah. It's not the fact, this is something one of the sheets that I was looking at. It's not the fact that it's a name. Yeah, it's not the fact that it's a proper noun. It's the fact that it's a name and it's female. This one here is the fact that it's a name and it's a foreign name. Like it's not an originally Arabic name. Yeah, but we're not going to go into all of that. That's the taste. You know, you should have that now, a desire to want to know. Well, what is ghayr munsarif? Yeah, you know, a good student would actually go on YouTube and just type it. What is ghayr munsarif? Watch a video on it. Yeah, there's loads of videos now in English that will explain it for you. Okay. Good. Okay, now we've got the dual words. The dual words. Right. Who can tell me the dual words, what they were, what were the sign for the fa'il and the maf'ul bihi? Who can remember? Because we're trying to make comparison, yeah? So for the singular word, it was kasra after the preposition versus fatha or dhamma. Same for the broken plural. Yeah? Ghayr munsarif, we said, is fatha at the end. And for the feminine plural, we said it's kasra at the end. Yeah? Who can summarize this for me? Who wants to have a go? So Dilar, do you want to have a go at this one?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
To be honest, I think I'm a bit behind.
Okay, no problem. No worries. It's just because you made a comment in the chat, so that's why I thought maybe you would know. But let me try Sister Nayab. I think you probably be okay with this.
Okay, so for the fa'il, the subject doer, the dual word is signified by a fatha and alif.
Good.
The direct object for a dual word for the maf'ul bi is a fatha and a ya.
Excellent.
And then for the prepositional phrase dual word, it's a fatha and a ya.
Oh my God!
I think that was fantastic. Very confident as well, mashallah. Very confident. You can tell you've done the sheets. Yeah. Don't think, oh, you know, I mean, I'm sure she is very clever, but don't think, oh, the sister's so clever or this person's so clever, not getting it. She's just literally gone through the sheets. I know she's gone through the sheets because yesterday she's on the prepositional phrase, and she's quite efficient about it. So now she's not doing much of the word level. She's just focusing on the because there's no point keep on talking. What's a conjunction? What's Khalas, once you know it, you know. If you know it, there was a day when you heard the word conjunction, you got scared. We're past that stage, alhamdulillah. Yeah, we're past that stage. So we're just focusing on what gives us most benefit. The other thing is here, look at this word. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 words in there. Appreciate that you recognize that. If it was black, it would be a lot harder to work that. Yeah, so you've achieved a lot. Yeah, I'm a big believer in patting yourself on the back, for the things that you've achieved in a space of time. We said transform your relationship with the Quran. Inshallah, we've done that. We've transferred our relationship with the Quran. We'll never look at the words the same again. Yeah. And we'll always want to, and we achieve this, we want the next stage. We want the next stage, inshallah. Okay. B is a letter, but it's a word in Arabic, it's a preposition. Yeah. And it's very common. And if it occurs at the beginning of a word, most likely it's a preposition. But you say, well, the wow is at the beginning of the word. Yeah. Well, now wow is probably not part of the way. It could be, but it could also be a conjunction, could be a preposition, the wow of oath. Yeah. Good. Okay. So بالوالدين في الفئتين Surah Ali Imran, and also في يومين. Yawmain, obviously there's 2 days. Yeah. So yawmaini, not your man, yawmaini. Okay. Now let's do the sound masculine plural. Okay, anybody want to have a go at sound masculine plural? Summarize fa'il, maf'ul bihi, and prepositional phrase. So, Sister Alia, do you want to have a go? No, I think she's probably busy with something. That's fine. So I'll do it then, inshallah. Unless Sister Nayab, do you have another go?
Yeah, I don't mind. Sorry, what are we on? Masculine plurals?
That's right.
So for the fa'il, it's a dhamma and a waw.
Excellent.
For the maf'ul bi direct object, it's a kasra and a ya. And then for the prepositional phrase, dual word, it's a fatha and a ya. Sorry, no, the masculine is a kasra and a ya.
Very good, inshallah. Excellent. Excellent. Good. Brilliant. I'm really proud of everyone who's gone through this. It makes me very happy. I love seeing people getting results. You know, I love that. I love that. And I think of all the things that you could learn, it's hard to find a subject that's more transformative. Learning the language of the words of the creator of the universe. You know, enough said. Yeah, enough said. Good. So you can see here, للمصلين, Surah Al-Ma'un, فويل للمصلين. The la here is a preposition. And then musallin here, that kasra and that ya. That's what you're looking for. Okay? Here, the preposition is the fi, not the lam. Lam is not the preposition, that's an emphatic particle. Fi, illiyin is this kasra here and the ya. Okay? And then bil mu'minin, this kasra here and this ya, the bi is a preposition. Okay? And that's it. We're on the last one. We are on the last one. Amazing, yeah? Mabni words don't have a sign. Any of these are mabni words. Covered this before. Pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, time adverbs, they always look the same. Hada is always going to look like hada. It could be a fa'il, you know, it could be something else, could be maf'ul bihi, but it's always going to look the same. Okay? So we have to just infer from the meaning what it is. And there's rules. Sister Ali is asking about this. There are certain rules, like this type of pronoun is always going to be a fa'il. This particular one, the ta. Yeah? Right. The prepositional, so the word here that's after the preposition is this pronoun, the him. Yeah? Alayhim. It's always going to look like this, either him or hum, whether it's a, you know, whatever it is. Yeah? But this type of pronoun is not going to be a fa'il. Yeah? So there are certain rules like that you will get used to. Okay? Lahu kufuwan, this lam here, this hu, very common in the Quran. Again, no problem, sister, that's fine. Yeah, you know, you say you're behind on the sheets, but actually you've already reached the point that I want you to reach anyway from the video that you sent. So I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah. Lahu, good. And again, this is a preposition, the la. The la is a preposition with a kasra at the bottom, but sometimes it can change. It can have a fatha at the top. So don't let that confuse you, yeah? The lam can be different things. We're having this discussion on the chat that the lam could be attached to a verb, and then, even if that's the case, then it's not a preposition, it's something else, yeah? And the last one here, be he as well. There's be, and then there's a pronoun at the end. So I've gone through that relatively quickly because I want to focus on this next bit, inshallah. Okay, so that now you can see the repetition. Now, I really enjoyed the video that Sister Soraya sent. I've watched it quite a few times actually because, you know, I was wondering, would people get there? And it's nice to see people got there. Yeah, this now is a very important summary. Now, this is what we've covered. We've done the fa'il, the subject doer for all these types of words. Singular words, broken plural, sound feminine plural, ghayr munsarif, dual words, sound masculine plural, and mabni words. And we did it as well for the maf'ul bihi, the direct object, and the prepositional phrase. Now, why do we care? Well, you do have to have the patience to get to the end to see why it all works and it all fits together. Okay? So here is how it all fits together and why we're doing this. Yeah? It's the comparison here. Now, there's two bits to this. First of all, this is a summary. This is just a summary of what we've covered. There's nothing new. If you're a bit behind or you haven't covered stuff, this summary, it's harder for me to teach this summary at the beginning than it is. Once you've done the sheets, it's easy. That's it. I can see it. Singular words, broken words, these all have dhamma at the end for the fa'il. And for dual words, it's fatha alif, sound masculine plural, it's dhamma and waw, and then there's no sign. You then compare these to the direct object. Yeah. So these are all dhamma, these are all fatha, but then I've put this in blue because the sound feminine plural breaks kind of the rule. Yeah. Dual words, it's now a fatha and a ya, and sound masculine plural is a kasra and a ya. And again, mabni words have no sign. For the prepositional phrase which we've just covered, it's all about kasras, kasra, 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 but the ghayn munsarif breaks the rule, it has a fatha at the end. Yeah? And again, for the dual words, it's a fatha and a ya, and then the sound masculine plural, it's a kasra and a ya. And then for the mabni words, it's no sign. Right, so get yourself ready for this next bit. This is where the penny is going to drop. And I do want questions and things if it hasn't dropped for you, okay? If you haven't gone through the sheets, you might still be able to follow this fine. You don't need to have gone through the sheets. This summary is enough, yeah? But, you know, why there's something, like I said, there's some sort of barakah of having examples for each one from the Quran, which I think makes a big difference. But even if you haven't done that, this summary is enough, okay? The reason why you should care about this is because we've only covered 3 roles in a sentence, correct? So the Pareto principle, 3 roles in a sentence, yeah? But there's 3 roles in a sentence, but there's more roles than that, isn't there? What about the other roles? How am I going to recognize the other roles? So the penny's about to drop, get ready. What about all these other labels? So, you know, all these other things here. Like this, khabar, for example, what's that all about? Yeah? Everything fits into what we have already learned. It all fits into that framework, okay? So here is what we call the fa'il. This is what we've already covered. All these other ones here will look exactly the same as a fa'il. The ending will be exactly the same. Yeah? So what that means is that when you see a word that ends in a dhamma, it's going to be one of these. The vast majority of them will be fa'il. But the other 2 really important ones are these 2, mubtada and khabar. Yeah, these 2. Now, why have I colored it in red? I'll get to that at the end. Yeah? But you can see it, rather than seeing as you've studied the fa'il, think of it as that you've studied the red words. Okay? The red words. Now, they're not called the red words. I'll give you the Arabic word at the end. Yeah? But these are the important ones. Now, fa'il is important because there's 2 main types of sentences in Islam, in Arabic. The verbal sentence and the nominal sentence, the noun sentence. Yeah? So the sentence that begins with a verb and the sentence that begins with a noun. So any sentence that's a verbal sentence will have a fa'il in it. That's why that was so important, because it's so many sentences. But the other type of sentence will have a mubtada and khabar, these 2. But they will look exactly the same as the fa'il at the end. Yeah? So you'll be able to recognize it. Yeah? Now, what you then need to do is the next stage of your learning is you actually need to understand what is a mubtada, what is a khabar. Yeah? So just to give you, I'm not going to get into this now, but the fa'il is the way that we say is in English. So you say the house is big. The first bit is the house is called a mubtada. And then the second bit is big is called the khabar. Yeah? So it's the news. So this is like the news about this thing. So in English, you would use the word is, am, are. You'd say the house is big. I am tall. You are clever. Yeah? That's the way we do it in English. So you understand what it does, yeah? But the way to recognize it is using what you've already learnt. Yeah? The same with the maf'ul bihi, the direct object. All of these here. Now, the blue section tends to be for more sort of beautification purposes and like more detail. Yeah? So all these things, there's a lot of the blue ones, yeah? But they tend to be like, you know, bits at the end of the ayah, things like that. I'll give you an example. Allah says in the Quran, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Tartila at the end there finishes with a fatha at the end. That is a blue word. It's in the blue category because it finishes with a fatha. But you could say وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ and you don't necessarily need to have tartila. Yeah? Allah's put it there for a particular reason, emphasis, something like that. Yeah? But then the good news, so all of these are blue. for the green, there's only two. The one that we've done, and then there's something else called mudaf ilayh, which is basically saying of in Arabic. Yeah. So what you can focus on is you can focus on understanding what each one does. But as far as recognizing them, you know how to recognize them now because you've done the work. If you've done the work, you can recognize them. There's one last category called the copiers. These here are like chameleons. They copy whatever they're attached to. The main two are adjectives. So adjectives will just copy what they're connected to. And we already covered this when we looked at Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim are just copying lafdul jalala here. Bismillahi has a kasra, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, they're just copying that. And then also you've probably seen this, the conjunction. So when you have a conjunction, the two words on either side of the conjunction will copy each other. Yeah? These two also copy, but they're less common. One is ta'keed, which is emphasis, and the other one is badal, which is substitution. Okay? Right, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you now that you can do this. We're going to do Surah An-Nasr. Okay? So then we're going to open it for questions, inshallah, and then we're going to talk about what's going to happen after Ramadan. So let's look at Surah An-Nasr. Yeah? Now, if anyone wants to have a go at this, put your mic on, but I'm not expecting you to do that. Okay? So if you want to have a go, either write in the chat or just put your mic on, say, me, please. Otherwise, I will do it, inshallah. So, anybody? This is a bit of a tall ask, but it's not difficult because I picked a surah which we've actually covered. Oh, Sister Ali, if I want to have a go. Okay, right. So I'll help you, inshallah. We're going to work, even though we read in Arabic right to left, but we work left to right. Okay, so we want to bunch up bits of, and what I want you to do is to say the ending has this at the ending because of this. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Okay, Bismillah.
Okay, so we're working from left to right.
Yeah, so start with wal fath.
Okay, so that has a dhamma because of the conjunction waw, which links it to nasr.
Excellent. Yeah. So fatah is a singular word.
Yeah.
And that's why it's got a dhamma, because it's copying nasr. Nasr is also a singular word. It's got a dhamma at the end. So these two are just copying each other. Yeah. The waw here is mabni. So it's always going to look like that anyway. So there's nothing at the end of the word that we need to check. Good. Okay. Keep going.
And Allah, I know why that has kasra, but we haven't done that yet, I don't think. No, we haven't done that yet. No.
You want to have a go?
Yeah, it's because I think this is because it's a possessive compound. So
yeah,
the second word, I mean, I don't know it completely, but I think the second word always has kasra.
It does, yeah. So this is copying the prepositional phrase that we've covered. Anytime you see in a translation of, in Arabic, that's called mudaf ilayh, the help of Allah. Yeah, the house of Allah. You could say even like the plates or the jewelry of gold. You know, like it could be made out of that thing. Yeah. So anytime you see of in Arabic, you would say it as mudaf ilayh. Yeah. And like you said, because this is mudaf ilayh, lafdul jalala, it's got a kasra at the end. Yeah. So now what we've done, sister, we've now done this block. Yeah. We've done this block. Here. Okay, so now we can connect this to the verb. So how do we do that, sister?
So nasr is the subject, so that's why it has and it's a singular, so it has a dhamma at the end.
Excellent.
And
so now we've done all of this. Ja'a nasrullahi wal fath. Yeah. Now what we haven't done is this. It's called shart. Yeah. So shart means a condition. So either it's a time adverb, but it can also be used for this purpose, which is the condition that this is the condition, and the next ayah is going to carry on from this until we get the answer to the condition. Okay? So let's do the next ayah. Wara'ayta. Do you want to keep going, or anybody else, or do you want me to do this?
I mean, if someone else wants to do it, they can do it.
Okay, if they don't, then we'll come back to you. Anybody else? Stanayab, do you want to have a go?
Okay, so if we're,
go on.
I'll have a go. So if we're working from the other side, we have the.
So I'll just jump in here. We haven't covered this, yeah. So hal is a blue word. is a blue word. Yeah. So it's copying the direct object, which is why it has a fatha at the end. Yeah. So hal is basically the state that the person's in. Yeah. So the states that people, when they enter Islam, they're going to be in multitudes. That's what that is. Yeah. So we haven't covered that before. Yeah. But you can do from here, sister.
Okay, so the so Allah has a kasra at the end, and that's the singular word.
Yeah.
Singular, and then you've got the preposition, which is fi.
Yeah.
And then you've got dini, which is the noun, and here we're talking about is it a sound feminine plural because it's got a kasra at the end?
Good try. It's not a sound feminine plural. For sound feminine plural, you'd have like an at the end. That's the way you'd recognize it. Yeah. It's just another singular word. Yeah.
Okay.
You can also rely a bit on the translation as well. So the religion is just a singular word. But you're right. So it's got a kasra at the end, a singular word, because it's after fi. And this has got a lafdul jalal has got a kasra at the end because if you can look at the translation, you can see the word of again, the religion of Allah, Deenillah. So that is like so the way you do it, that would be a bit, Deenillah, and then you connect that to fi, and then all of that is connected to yadkhulun. Yeah. So that would all be connected to yadkhulun. Yeah. Good. So what's the fa'il here, sister? There's two. Can you see them?
Yeah, so it's the word doing the verb, so it would be ta, which is the pronoun, and then
Yeah, good. Yeah. So that one's a fa'il, and the other one?
And then it would be na, entering.
Yeah, not the waw. It's the waw. So the waw and the na, but technically speaking,
yes.
Yeah, technically speaking, the noon can drop. That's a more advanced rule. The noon can drop. Yeah.
Okay.
Like for example, if you put a lam at the beginning, the noon would drop. It would be liyadkhulu, liyadkhulu. But if there's no lam, you keep the noon. Yadkhuluna. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is doing the verb yadkhuluna. So let's just have a recap of the translation, how this works. Yeah. So this bit here, yadkhuluna fi dinillahi afwaja. So the people, this word is not translated because it's already here, so they haven't kind of put it in again. So the people, they enter, they are entering, and then fi dinillahi, this here is connected to that, and the state that they're entering is afwaja. Okay, so you would recognize, you would work out what's going on by the ending of the word. It's got fathatain here. You'd say, well, it's not a direct object. You know, think about it, it's not a direct, so it's got to be something else. What could it be? So then what you do is you think, okay, all the blue words, which one could it be? And this is where the scholars have these discussions. They say, I think it's hal, because if you think about it, it's like a state that they're in. Do you see? Then they'll say it's hal. Yeah. So that's kind of that discussion. They also make this whole thing here as a hal to nas, because if you think about that mankind are because it starts here and you see, yeah. So talking to the Prophet ﷺ or talking, you know, the person who's reading the ayah, and you see. So this you is doing the verb see. You could leave it like that, and you see the people. But what's the state that they are in? The state is all of this. They are entering into the deen of Allah in multitudes. Yeah. Nas, you can recognize what Nas is doing because of what. How can we work out? If we didn't have the label at the bottom here, how would we work out what's Nas in this ayah? Sister Alia, what do you think?
Because of the fatha.
Fatha at the end. So now okay, it's a fatha at the end. It's a singular word. Oh no, it's a broken plural because ins is singular. So nas is a broken plural. So it's got fatha at the end. Okay, what options have I got now? Well, the most common one is direct object. So I'll start with that. Could it be a direct object? Well, it comes after a verb. And I know ta is a fa'il because I'm used to that now. I've done all these sheets and I've seen ta before. And I know that must be, that type of pronoun has to be a fa'il. So if that's the fa'il, then probably nas is the maf'ul bihi, is the direct object. I think about the translation and you see the people. Yeah, this is what we mean by understand Arabic. You get used to working it out in your brain until it becomes second nature. Yeah, until it becomes second nature. This is only a 1 month course. Imagine if you did this. This is my, I say this to parents all the time. Yeah, imagine you started this when you were 6. How good would your Arabic be when you're your age? Yeah. But this resource wasn't available when you were 6, when I was 6. Okay, so alhamdulillah, the community is developed. We're trying to work with those developments and make it easier for the next generation. I don't know how people stand in Tarawih, and they don't understand anything. Like, I understand everything that's being said, and I still daydream, and I think about, I don't know, food or whatever. Yeah. So we don't want that. We want to grow. Syria, which is where I'm originally from, was not originally an Arabic speaking country. It developed that. It acquired that skill. Same with Egypt as well. Same with Morocco. Okay, so we can do the same, inshallah. Yeah, at least to understand the Quran. Right, and then we've got the last bit here. Now this fa here, fa, if we go back to the beginning, the first ayah, we said this shart, the condition. This is the result particle. This is the jawab shart. It's the answer to the either. That's what they put it there. Yeah. So they're saying when the victory of Allah comes and the opening, and you see people enter in Islam in large groups, what do? Fasabbih, glorify. Yeah, that's what that fa here is doing. Okay. Now I'll do this next one. So wastaghfirhu now. This is like a little sentence because you've got the verb, which is to ask forgiveness. Wastaghfirhu. And this is talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah's forgiveness. The fa'il is hidden. Yeah. So and you ask for forgiveness. Yeah. So and that's all got a conjunction, is connected to this fasabbih, the sabbih here. So then we can do this next little block here, the side. So sabbih, glorify, with bihamdi. So this bi is a preposition, and because hamdi is a singular word, it's got a kasra at the end. Yeah. And then the same here, rabbika. This here is this pronoun is because you can see here of your Lord. So this is called mudaf ilay. So Rabbi and the ka is mudaf ilay, and that is all mudaf ilay to hamdi, and all of that is connected to sabbih, because prepositions always connect to verbs or something derived from a verb. So they've connected it to the pronoun, or you can connect it to the verb itself. Okay, there's a bit more to it, but there's nothing there that's too complicated. It's just, this is all new. Yeah, it's all new. So it just needs more practice. Just needs more practice. You want to get familiar. Now we've done fa'il, we've done maf'ul bihi, we've done majroor, we've done these. We want more practice in the other things as well. Yeah, and I've got sheets for mubtada. I've got a whole pack with mudaf ilay, just like we did majroor. So you can see a whole bunch of mudaf ilay examples. Yeah. So it's down to you, but you know the structure of the language. There's basically 3 colors. There's the red color, the blue color, and the green color. Yeah. The technical words for these aren't red, blue, and green. It's rafa', so I call it red rafa'. And then navy blue nasab. Yeah. So radiant red rafa', navy blue nasab, and then joyous green jar. This is what I call it. Yeah. Red. So you didn't know that there was colors when you were working through it, but you do now. If I told you at the beginning that they don't call them colors, they call them states. Any time I've tried to teach it that way, people get confused, and they don't get enough enjoyment from the process before they stop. It's too difficult. Okay. So, but now you're ready to understand that piece of information. So when we go back up here, we can say that this is jar. Yeah. This is actually called jar. These 2 are in jar. There's only 2. These are all nasab. Yeah. And these are all rafa'. Yeah. In English, they call this nominative, accusative. Who can tell me they've come across accusative somewhere? I know some of you have, because I've seen it in your notes. Where have you seen
I have.
accusative?
Like indeed.
Indeed, excellent. Yeah. In Arabic, it's called inna. I was tempted to say that when I gave you feedback, but I didn't. Yeah. I thought I'd mention it in the class. So inna will put a word into nasab. That's what it's called, accusative. And it's got a bunch of sisters as well. It's called inna and her sisters, yeah? So that's what I mean. Accusative is blue, is nasab, is basically the same as maf'ul bihi, okay? And then, yeah, and then rafa is the red, the first ones, okay? So what we'll do, we'll open up for some questions, and then we'll wrap up, inshallah. Okay? Bismillah. What questions do you have?
Just a quick one. I wanted to ask where you know, the information about the green, red, and blue words, the different states. Where is that? Because
It's not in the notes. It's not in the notes. So last year I did the 30-day challenge, which was very poorly completed.
Okay.
Basically, no one did it. A couple of guys said they watched. 2 brothers said they actually watched all of them, but it didn't feel like they watched all of them because they didn't have any questions. So in that course, I do have a really detailed way of explaining it. Yeah. And I tried to explain it to a whole bunch of people who I felt were clever people, so successful people in their careers, doctors, you know, these sorts of things. And they didn't understand it. So I thought, if they're not understanding it, it's not something for the masses. But you are, sister, ready to do that now. Yeah, you're ready to do that. Okay. So you can then go and see, because it's not so much understanding rafa and nasab jar, you actually understand it now. Yeah. This is it. These are jar. These 2 categories are jar. These categories are nasab. Yeah. The blue is nasab and the red is rafa. That's it. What you want to focus on, though, sister, this is where you want to focus your energy, is understanding these extra roles. Okay. Because you're going to come across not every word, not every sentence is just fa'il. Yeah. Mubtada, khabar. Okay. I'll give an example. We were doing qiyam and Uthman was leading. He led, you know, Uthman. Yeah. He's one of the student I was referred to. He read the ayah. What was he reading again? Surah Al-Mulk. I can't remember the ayah now, but it started with inna, yeah. And he made a mistake. He put, I think it was a fatha at the end. So we worked through it. Inna is this category here, khabar inna. Okay, so the word he was reading was khabar inna. That's why it should have a dhamma at the end, and he understood it. He understood it. I asked him, and he was struggling a bit, but when I explained it to him, he understood it. And him and Jamal have regularly said to me, it's much easier for them to understand it than just to memorize it. This is what I want you to get to with your kids as well, because all of us have aspirations for our children, grandchildren to become huffaz of Quran. We make it much easier for them if they have some access to the Arabic language, yeah? So that if they're making the same mistake over and over again, it can get very frustrating and kids can give up. Yeah, I don't. If you say, okay, let's explain it. Let's see what's going on. And this is why it's got Dhamma at the end. And Uthman can do it. Jamal can do it. Fatima can do it. I've got other students as well, but these are the ones who've been with me the longest. Yeah, they can do it as well. Okay, so that's the next stage of this. But as part of that, the framework is Rafa, Nasab, and Jar. That's the framework that everything fits into. Any questions?
Can I ask something? You know the sentences that you the ayahs that we printed out. Do you mean the ones in red were the rafa words, the ones in blue were blue words, and the ones in green were jar words?
Which page are you referring to?
All of them, the whole set. So you know they were all color coordinated, or is this color category new?
So, for example, my summary at the end here, yeah, that is my colors are red, green, but here, if you're talking about corpus's coloring,
yeah,
very, very intelligent question. They do, but not for everything. So for pronouns, if it is rafa, they color it in blue. Now, only you will understand this, and Sister Ali, and maybe a few others have done this, yeah? I think, Sister Ali, you will appreciate this as well, okay? I think you asked me this question, yeah? if it's in nasab, they put it in grey. Nasab or jar, because this is actually jar. Yeah. So what they're trying to help you with is to distinguish with like give you a bit of assistance in recognizing what is a fa'il, what's a maf'ul bihi by coloring it. But otherwise, all the other colors are random. They don't have any meaning. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a really good question. Yeah. Anything else? You know why that's important? Yeah. Because if a pronoun comes after a passive verb, yeah, it's still blue, even though it's an object. Because an object that comes after a passive verb is still in rafa' state. Yeah. So that's a more subtle point. I'll show you what I mean. It's called na'ib fa'il here, this one. This is an object. Yeah. Now direct object is blue, but an object whose subject is not mentioned. This is if we have it after, if the object is after a passive verb. So in English we'd say the cake was eaten. The cake here is after a passive verb. Eaten is a passive verb. We don't the subject do is not mentioned. Yeah. This is called na'ib fa'il. That is still in rafa' state. So I'll give you an example. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها. أرض here is an object, but zulzilat is a passive verb. Who's doing the shaking? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not mentioned in the ayah because the focus is on ard. So ard here still has a dhamma at the end. Okay. So that's that was a bit of a long explanation, but that's the only thing that the color coding helps with. Anything else? No? Okay. So let me stop this recording then, inshallah. So well done, everyone. Big achievement, alhamdulillah. You know, if you have not finished the sheets and you're listening, I can guarantee if you finish the sheets, you will also get all of what I've just said. And what you can do is you can come back and watch this again and see that you understand it. Yeah. Now, Ramadan's very busy. You didn't have a chance to do it, but you did something. I don't think anyone here did zero. Okay. So you've made the first step. Now, how you hold yourself accountable to finish everything, that's on your back. Yeah. But you've got this far, and many people have not. Yeah. And that in itself is an achievement, inshallah. So my advice and recommendation to all of you is to try and get to the next step. Okay. Don't think about step 42. Think about the second step, the next step. Get that step done. Because if you, for example, started off Arabic and, oh, I'm not getting rafa', nasab, and jar. Well, now you can see you don't need that to understand. You know, we're doing it in stages. And my job is to split things out and say, okay, actually, you only need that at the beginning. You've done it, finished. Okay, now you're ready for the next bit. Okay? Hopefully we've done that, achieved that, inshallah.